ready.
Let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston College.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Overreaction Monday, November 28, 2022. Show starts now! Football is in full force right now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. College football obviously nearing the championship weekend and college football playoffs. The NFL had a fantastic weekend starting on Thanksgiving, which we all hope you had a fantastic one. I found out that me and my wife are going to have a baby girl. Okay, I've heard that I'm just a hero forever for that, so that's great news. I can't wait to meet her. We do have a name picked out. I think, there's still some time to adjust that, but I think we have a name. That was awesome. Hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving as well. The football is worthy of conversation because the games have implications further on down the road. Then obviously Saturday there was a massive college football day, and then yesterday, Week 12 NFL Sunday slate showed up. Yeah. The games didn't appear to be that great. To be honest, on paper, the week looked like it was going to be a shitty one. Instead, we had captivating finishes, close games everywhere, offenses showing up, defenses for teams that we thought were great not showing up. What does that mean going forward, and how do we wrap up Week 12 of the NFL? Oh, Monday Night Football in Indianapolis with the Pittsburgh Steelers, our hometown, obviously coming to visit. Cannot wait to chat about it all. We have Ian Rapoport joining us in about 26 minutes or so. Hey, Ian, what's going on with the injuries? Hey, Ian, what's going on with Aaron Rodgers? Hey, Ian, what's going on around the NFL? Cannot wait to chat with him about what's taking place this evening, who we should look out for, who we should maybe not bet on. Speaking of betting, I lost all my bets.
It's tough.
And I think that's going to happen whenever, Tom Brady loses to the Browns and, the Ravens lose to the Jags. Jags might be a team in the future.
Sure.
Not this year, in the future. Trevor Lawrence does appear to have figured out football a little bit. It's amazing what can happen whenever you have an NFL coach coaching a player at the quarterback position whenever they're young. Cannot wait to watch them. There was a lot of upsets and everything. Can't wait to dive into all of it. The Toxic Table is here. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great week. It is fantastic to see you boys. At Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Ty, I'll start with you. You guys are dead.
Yeah.
Oh!
Tough.
Yep. Oh! And I don't like this at all, okay? Because I like the Packers. I've become a Packers fan ever since Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays has started because I have to follow along with the Packers because the conversations on Tuesday are something that are going to be a part of my life, a big part of my life, and I'm excited to have them, so I might as well know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I became a little bit of a Packers fan over the past 3 years. Interesting rides we have been on, haven't we? I mean, there's been some drama in the offseason about who's doing what, when, and how, whose opinions matters, whose opinions don't matter. Then we get the team back. We lose the best wide receiver in the fucking world to the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegedly, we made a similar offer, and he was going to stay on the team. But this team has not performed like we thought they were going to. Seems like it's all fucking in dysfunction. And then now we learned, even though kind of alluded to it last Tuesday, that Aaron's had a broken thumb since week 5. Now there's something potentially happening to the middle body or whatever. Is he done? Jordan Love comes in, does his thing. What do the Packers look like for the rest of the year? And have you given up hope, or are you in a good spot still?
You can't really give up hope when you haven't had much to begin with for the last several weeks.
Like
so it's kind of, like, what am I?
We had low expectations, but holy fuck. Like the Commanders.
Exactly.
The Sean Taylor.
Exactly.
My God.
Yeah.
They put Adidas Copa Mundials on him. Soccer shoes?
Yeah.
So I actually did the research yesterday. I'm like, Sean Taylor must have been an Adidas guy. That's why they did it. Not at all.
Nope.
Never once did I see a photo of him not wearing the Nike Speeds from back in the day. So they put Copas on him. They put just an invisible body. How are they a functioning operation? How are they allowed to be in the NFL still? And the fact that they have enforced a sale from this fucking inept team. None of it makes sense. This is Bush League. This is amateur. This is childish. This is ineptitude being displayed to everybody, in which they hyped up too. They said, we got a Sean. They didn't even know. They thought this was going to be a home run. They got soccer shoes on his feet, Copas, Adidas Copas.
Tongue's not even folded down on him.
Yeah, which is the only cool part about having those shoes, is being able to fold the tongue down, maybe even lace underneath. I used to wear these for soccer, okay? I was like, oh shit, Sean Taylor was way ahead of the game. He was wearing soccer shoes because back in the day, football cleats were much heavier than soccer cleats. So you saw some skill positions actually wear soccer cleats because they were lighter in their move. Now football cleats are like track shoes, and everything's kind of evolved. And the soccer model is kind of the model that everybody wears that's in a skill position. So I was like, oh, Sean Taylor. I was actually like, the one thing I took away from this, god-awful,
horrendous,
god-awful salute to a man that is allegedly worthy of, in the Commander's eyes, right? Commander said this guy deserves some sort of statue, and then this is what they went with. I mean, it's just like unbelievable. I was like, this dude must have been ahead of the game. Never. Nike, he's a Nike guy. Never, ever do. So just from literally the helmet to the bottom of the toes, completely fucking disrespectful to Sean Taylor. They make it worse. You don't announce you're putting a statue up. You don't do a statue at all. People think you're assholes. They don't think you're dumb assholes.
Right.
This is just compounded into them being the worst franchise, worst business, maybe in America.
Yeah.
Maybe in the United States of America, and somehow they've been able to ride a gravy train, and Dan Snyder's going to make billions of dollars from the way this team has been run whenever they finally force him to sell it, which allegedly is happening right now. That was disrespectful. I thought that was bullshit. And I like the way everybody that was there whenever it got debuted, probably family and people very close to him, when they didn't immediately just go, this is bullshit, because it is a statue. It is an honor of some sort. But that was trash. That was absolutely
so bad.
Anyways, expectations were low for the Commanders, but they won up themselves, and they put themselves in a pit. Look what we're doing to then do it. It's just unbelievable. The Packers, you're saying, though, expectations were low all season. You didn't think they were going to have it after what, week 4? You thought they were maybe dead, or what was it?
No, I think it was probably after the Commanders game, to be honest. They lost, that was, at that point, they had lost 3 in a row. And it was just, you could just tell by watching the games. Like, this isn't the Packers team we're used to seeing. And then, last night, it's been an issue all year, but, the Eagles haven't rushed for that many yards since fucking Harry Truman was the president of the United States. Like,
really?
Yeah, like 1940.
Truman was important for some stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did something.
Ended World War II pretty much.
Yeah, he did pretty quickly.
Say, you know what? We're done fucking around. Let's go ahead and drop the A-bomb and end this thing. Yeah, give him Hail Harry. Buck stops here.
Anyways, I've been to Japan.
Yep.
That has not been what Truman decided to do has not been forgotten over there.
Still talk about.
But also, I mean, if you're going to speak about it at the time, there's war.
We don't forget either.
Tough to kind of put ourselves in. Nonetheless, long time ago.
Yep.
And the Eagles looked unstoppable last night on the offensive side of the ball. And we watched the Colts just last week in person kind of have much more success against the Philadelphia Eagles offense. So I think that was alarming too, because the defense is supposed to be a defense is supposed to be a side of the ball that was going to be good. Jalen Hurts was running wherever the fuck he wanted. There was no discipline in the gaps, which I assume is being coached and taught. Jalen Hurts is showcasing that not only is he a physical specimen being able to squat over 600 pounds, and they got stopped on two Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelce sneaks, which I thought, damn, maybe the Packers had figured this whole thing out. They did not. The Eagles would continue to do it. They'd get another sneak for like 6 yards later, where it was 3rd and 1. I think they picked up 6, actually, and Jalen could have went on and do it. I can't believe they stopped it. I thought that was a sign of life. But the defense didn't look great. The offense, obviously, with Aaron, is he hot? Is he done? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Jordan Love comes in, makes some throws. I think Jordan Love put in a very difficult position literally since draft night. Literally since draft night, Jordan Love's been put in a bad position. Now, is it his fault? Not at all. Is it the NFL, so he's going to have to live with it? Yes. But he steps in there. There was a moment on the sideline where somebody walks by and says, let's do this thing. And he goes, oh, yeah. His confidence seemed to be there. Threw the ball really well. What are the Packers with Jordan Love? Who knows? What is the future of the Packers? Who knows? But Aaron Rodgers, is he going to be done for the season? Is that what you guys are thinking? Is that what you guys are hearing?
I don't know. I hope not, but that was kind of the...
alluded to this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Heavily.
And last night, that was like the main, when he left the game, it was like, we may have just seen Aaron Rodgers play for the last time in not only a Packers uniform, but ever. So it's like, who knows? I mean, his thumb's fucked up, his obliques all messed up. But then with Jordan Love, too, I mean, like, that was a completely different guy than when he started against Kansas City last year. He looked light years better. And now they have kind of put themselves in a position. It's like you drafted this guy in the first round. You kind of need to see what you have out of him because, what are they going to pick up his fifth-year option when he's only played like 2 meaningful games? So they've kind of backed themselves into a corner a little bit. Christian Watson has, he hurt
CJGJ. CJGJ thought he was going to get him. And Aaron's first thing he said about Christian Watson, I think this is when Christian Watson was still trying to learn the offense and maybe not having his best days. Aaron didn't want to say that, but he chose to compliment something else. He said, don't think I've ever seen a lot of Christian Watsons walking around in our field.
Yeah.
He said different
physical freak.
Big, huge.
Fast.
CJGJ, I think he broke his ribs with his arm. I think his own elbow broke his own rib because it ran into Christian Watson, and Christian Watson gets right up. I mean, you're talking about he's a dog, Christian Watson, especially with those touchdowns, getting his confidence in there. So I think he's a player. Randall Cobb makes a play. What if they're able to salvage something? Mathematically, are they eliminated completely?
Not yet, I don't think. But
that'd be real early.
Yeah.
Texans, for instance, gone.
Well, and also, it's not
they
like
are so bad.
Oh my God, maybe the worst team ever. Maybe
This is the whole college team ever. If there was a better, if we had one of the, and I guess Georgia's thinking, why is nobody talking? They're the reigning national champions,
right?
Stetson Bennett's not even in conversation for the Heisman. Not even in conversation for the Heisman. All he did was win the national championship, go on Good Morning America, hammered, drunk, and tired still. Do something awesome. Come back undefeated still. Slice and dice everybody. Not even in the conversation. But in other years, let's talk about in other years where there was super teams. This would be the classic, can Bama beat the Texans? The
Texans, yep.
After watching what the Dolphins did to the Texans, I almost can't help myself but think the Dolphins are a fucking wagon. And I know they got wins, and I think we're all, broaching the inevitable downfall of the Dolphins because that is what it has been for the Dolphins. But you start listening to people talk about Tua and how he's handling himself. On the broadcast, they said it 3 times where Tua would look in the mirror and say, do I suck at football? Because the way he was being treated in the building by the coaching staff, which we had chatted about while watching Tua. He'd get benched in moments. He was put into a starting situation where the starter, Ryan Fitzmagic, who's on Amazon, basically came out and said, I'm heartbroken. I didn't know this was going to happen. They just got done winning. So the whole narrative against Tua was, this guy got a starting position when nobody wanted him to be the starter. Then when he becomes the starter, he was getting benched in the most important parts. And then he leaves the game and the PR department says, he had no injury at all. This dude's just soft. When he had an actual fractured something to his ribs. Right. So everything was going against him. We actually chatted on this show about Tua's mental toughness might be the best in the history of the NFL. I like to hear the fact that there was moments where Tua was like, do I suck? Because if he didn't, I would think he was a fucking robot with the way things had gone under Flores' leadership. Then we obviously hear about the potential paying for losses and what is the building like and toxic. And then you hear people talk about how McDaniel put together a 700-play fucking slideshow to show Tua, hey, you're a player, dude.
Pretty good. Very good.
Hey, they build him up publicly. Teammates, Tyreek Hill, as soon as he gets there. Very clear that McDaniel said, hey, Tyreek, listen, Tua has been mentally assaulted since he got here. So Tyreek, as soon as he get here, most accurate quarterback in the NFL, can't wait to play with Tua, can't wait to do this. Everybody else, Waddle comes out, starts talking about Tua doing this because in the past, remember, Mac Jones was a better teammate than Tua was. Right. Waddle allegedly said that in privacy that somehow got out to try to fucking ruin Tua. I mean, Tua has been taking it. Might have made him what he needs to be. Not saying anybody should go through that. But Tua just 2 years ago, go back 3 years ago when he was at Bama or whatever, wins the national championship, right, as a freshman, comes in, does his thing, hi. Then he does something to his hip. Jalen Hurts comes in, does his thing. His whole story is very much like this. And now, with the way that defense is playing, they kept the entire defensive staff from last year. Defense always been pretty good. Flores leaves, you think they're going to have a drop-off. Yesterday, they fucking put the finishing touches on the Texans to put that thing 27-zip with a slaughter shot. Ball comes out. It's 20-0. Not Davis Mills. Kyle Allen has a completion. Looks like they might gain some yards. Slaughter shot. Pick that thing up. Get us into the end zone. 27-zip second quarter. Spread should have been 40. The spread should have been 50, and the Dolphins do what every good team's fan base hopes that a good team would do and put a motherfucker away. It always seems like the parity of the NFL is talked about because the great teams seemingly have good games with the bad teams. So they're like, any given Sunday, this team could beat that team. The Miami Dolphins were supposed to kill the Texans, and they did.
Yeah.
That cannot be held against them. I think that should put them up into a different stratosphere. That this group of personalities and egos and attitudes in Miami that everybody loves and everything's going good. It could have went to shit playing against a bad team. It did not. They're focused. They're dialed in. And that team is fun to watch. The AFC's got a new powerhouse, got a new wagon down there.
Yeah.
And I think they're only going to get better because they're going to go all in. The owner was accused of tanking. That guy is obviously going to try to flip the narrative and do everything he possibly can. Trade in, give me Jeff, give me Tyreek Hill. We're going to do this. We're going to move. I assume this offseason they're going to acknowledge how good of it they have it, and they're going to try to go in even more. Hey, good for
Bradley
Gumpy.
Chubb.
Yeah.
Chubb, yeah,
Chubb.
exactly. Bring him in from Denver. They had no idea
Armstead.
that was happening. Congrats to the Dolphins, Gumpy, and the Finn fam.
They're unbelievable.
You got a team.
Yeah.
Tone Diggs.
Yes.
One half of the Hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys. My college football professor all
Right.
season. I've appreciated your work, honestly. You've made me much smarter and better. The gambling
The gambling.
as a whole. Now, I can't talk about you because you and Gumpy seemingly win every single night somehow.
Magicians.
But, dude, this season continued yesterday. I mean, there was teams that were in games that we never expected. There was teams that were showing up out of nowhere. Is everybody losing every gamble this year? Is that just normal? And how happy are the fucking sports books that this year has gone the way it's gone?
I know the books get super, super happy when there's upsets like the Jags over the Ravens yesterday and things like that, because a lot of people do like money line parlays, and you can guarantee the Ravens were in every single money line parlay. So like,
Yeah.
I'd say
they were.
so that's just
no offense to the Jags. Please don't take any offense, Jacksonville. And your mascot, hilarious.
dog. Oh, that was awesome.
He's Florida man. He was Florida man yesterday with the thong Speedo American flag all pretty toned up.
I was going to say, he looked pretty good.
Pretty toned up. And remember, I've talked about Jax Him DeVille.
Right.
Because he used to bring the ball for the game in from the top of the lights in the state. He would bungee jump in. There'd be like 14,000 people at the game, okay? And I've seen Jacksonville through the years.
At its bottom.
Got very lucky to play down there. Now, granted, they did beat us a couple of the times, which makes no sense, but that fan base had pretty much said, fuck this team. We have other things to do on Sundays or whenever we're playing. You're got a lot of tarped off areas of that stadium. A lot of tarped off areas of that stadium so that they didn't black out the game because there might gain a fan in the city if they were able to play it because that's how bad it was at points. Now, I'm sure there's some Jacksonville Jaguar diehard fan who's going to tell me I'm wrong. I played there. I saw it. It was fucking empty. It was nothing. But Jax Him DeVille always brought it.
Oh, yeah.
It was a game every game. Just jumping over the 14,000 people with a bungee jump from the sky to deliver the game ball, which obviously we didn't kick, but like he's always been all in. I appreciate him getting some props on the internet. Now, the Jags, do they think that's what our mascot is? Or is he just a Florida man as a whole? That's the conversation I think is going to come next. You know, that's the whole thing. Like Blue for the Colts.
Right.
Is he the proper representation of the Indianapolis Colts? I think so. I think he's bought into the community. I think he's for children. You know, I wish he'd be a little bit tougher every once in a while, but then he gets an opportunity to play in those mascot games, and
He's full
Brings
go.
yeah. So I think we got to remember these mascots as they continue to get more shine because they are incredibly intelligent and creative people underneath there. Allegedly, kids. Sorry, no offense.
Right.
But are they representative of the team? I think is the question. I think Jacksonville represents all of Florida.
Yeah.
Very well. I think Blue does a good job here. There's some places that I'm like, why is that mascot doing that?
Yeah, it's not great.
That mascot needs to fucking chill out. And if you're the coach of the team, at what point do you go, that is not what my fucking team.
Get this guy the fuck out.
That is not the mascot of our team. But I love Jacksonville. I just want to let that be known. But anyways, yeah, the Ravens fucked a lot of parlays. For me, in particular, I assume a lot of people, the sports books have to be eating right now.
Yeah, like because pretty much all the other favorites kind of took good care of business in the early games. And I feel like a lot of people do like, all right, moneyline parlay at 1 o'clock games, and then they'll do one for the night. And then also the Bucks probably ruined a bunch.
Yep.
And then you get to
Are they dead?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the end of an era.
Kind of.
Sam Darnold log rolling in for a touchdown was awesome.
Tell you what, if he was healthy all year, they might be fucking 12-0.
Well, let's not get,
Do they still have Christian McCaffrey then? Is Matt Rule still there instead of Nebraska? I mean, what ifs?
What
here?
if?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A
Ifs
lot
and
of what
buts
ifs.
were
Bob Anderson.
candies and nuts, and
We'd all be fat, I think.
yeah, I can't remember the ending.
What
but
if ifs were fifths? We'd all be drunk.
There.
Darius.
Yep.
That's Darius'
Right.
thing.
Great one.
I don't know if I should say that one.
Uh-oh.
Because we don't know.
yeah.
We don't know how they would identify.
Right.
So we don't want to necessarily say somebody would be an uncle or an aunt.
Oh,
True.
yeah, yeah.
That's right.
If my uncle identified as a man
woman.
and
As a woman,
as a woman and had
then
Then
my uncle would be my aunt.
Exactly.
That's another if that you could potentially
Sure.
do.
Right.
But we don't want to, do any of that
my uncle was
Not today.
My uncle was a cannibal and
Go on.
Go
Go
on.
on, Tony.
Go on.
that's
he ate
just
people?
I couldn't.
Anyways, there's a lot of ifs there. Sam Darnold appeared to be pretty good. That was the guy. I just asked before we went live. There was a backup
Oh, you're right.
who played that Dan Orlovsky hopped back on the Dan wagon for. It was Darnold.
Yep. Yeah.
That was exactly what it was. Him, honestly, watching him sling the pillow around, I was so happy for him. I think I actually put out a tweet after this one, or I didn't let it go. Oh, yeah, he just threw a tud. What a ride that guy's life has been. Happy for him. Like, I had a full, good for Sam Darnold. Think about Sam Darnold's life and what is. This guy's in New York. He's a guy. Get him out of here. This guy stinks. They break down film. This guy stinks. Goes to Carolina. This guy stinks. Bring in Baker Mayfield, the Sam Darnold of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Put him in the room. This guy stinks. This guy's starting over this guy. He's just been all over the place, and somehow he's been able to maintain course. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go on to have an incredibly successful NFL career. No. I'm not going to say that at all. But I will say that Sam Darnold had to have a hell of a yesterday when they fucking put it on the Denver Broncos, who might be dead for the next 5 to 10 years. Honestly, that is an interesting situation. I read a tweet about the Denver Broncos. I think they only have to pay Russell Wilson another $101 million or something like that. And then there's a $30 million cap hit after that.
Oh, that's easy.
Say let's ride to me one more fucking time.
You think that's what he said? What was his name?
Purcell?
98 for the Broncos. Coming off the field after getting a field goal or a stop or something, sees Russell Wilson chit-chatting with Nathaniel Hackett, game planning, obviously, which has gone very well for them all season. And then he just or maybe not Nathaniel Hackett, that's somebody else. And Russell Wilson had a press conference after this interaction, after the game, to talk about this particular interaction. And this is what he had to say about it. As the internet was saying, that Purcell told him, I'm fucking sick of the bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Do
suck.
something. Because his stats, Carson Wentz, and this has been noted by a lot of people on the internet, so I don't know who to give proper credit to. Just know that it was Twitter that did this, which is still going.
Yep, still alive.
Still alive.
Go. Keep going, Elon.
Wow. Holy shit.
Nuts.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Didn't see that coming.
It's like a cat. Twitter's like a cat.
That's right.
How many lives this thing got? It was dead.
Oh, yeah, dead.
Weren't going to be able to survive.
Nope.
He's going to kill free speech in his mission for free speech.
That's still coming, I think.
Thanks for figuring it out, Elon.
Figure it out,
I've loved Twitter since the day I got on it.
Hell yeah.
I will love it forever. I was told that something I love was going to die last week by people that were supposed to have degrees, I think, in social media.
They know.
That's wild. It's crazy. I wonder if the degrees matter when it comes to something that's changing every single day.
Good question.
Something to
No,
think about.
Oh, what? Was that Foxy?
no, I know from experience they do not matter.
No.
No, you don't. You never said
Not
No,
that I
because-
got a social media degree, but I knew people that did. I said, that's got to be the most pointless thing ever.
No, it's not pointless because they're actually getting handed the keys to Ferraris because all the olds that are scared to death of social media, scared to death of it, don't want to know about it, don't know how it works. Oh, this person has a social media degree. You run our social media degree. Having this old has no idea what that means. Okay, you tell me. And then the way you can put numbers together. These social media graduates are running a lot of accounts. They all told us, which I did not go. I obviously did not finish school. social media. The only thing we had was Facebook. At the time when I was in college. So they're much more educated than we are in businesses that have been around a lot longer than ours. I guess their reach in Fugue's numbers is definitely bigger than ours.
Sure.
They told us that Twitter was dead 2 weeks ago, week and a half.
Move all your assets to Instagram.
Get off of here. Twitter's dead. Twitter is nothing. Elon ran into the ground. Congratulations. Won't be able to operate without an advertising team.
No way.
They don't have any coders.
No, absolutely.
gonna
Everybody
do?
quit. They want us to work. What are we talking to this guy? It is dead. Still alive. Way to go, Twitter.
Well done.
Keep going, Twitter.
Way to go,
Way
Twitter.
to go, Twitter.
Had no idea that was going to. Could not have said that immediately upon all these people with degrees saying it was over, saying, you're fucking wrong. Couldn't have said that. I don't think I ever said that. Because why would you? These people have degrees.
I know.
I would have never said
don't
that.
know.
We'll
They
come
know.
back to bite him.
And maybe it's dying soon. Maybe it still has enough juice stored up, like a bear that goes into hibernation, or a squirrel that has 7 nuts tucked in the thing. Maybe the end of its juice is just currently running out, and Elon is just using all his Tesla things to keep the juice going as long as possible before it just crashes off the internet. Twitter is going to happen. I
Gone
guess.
forever.
Like hospice care,
Yeah, it's on hospice.
basically.
And I guess because they're saying more people are using it than ever, a lot of people are visiting the hospice, which is cool. We should do more of that.
It is.
Nice.
We should do more of that.
Take care of your loved ones.
Yeah. Especially around the holidays.
Is there a bigger con than being a social media graduate and taking some of these olds who are in charge of things for every dollar they have?
Yeah, crypto and NFTs.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
One and the same.
Well said.
Bingo.
Brett
Minus
Favre.
V friends.
Well, Brett Favre is not a young that's taking advantage of olds. He's an old who's taking advantage of the broke.
That's right.
Pours,
Which
yeah.
is
Big difference.
definitely conning going on. We're just talking about two different. Nonetheless, happy and Twitter's still around. Twitter told me that Carson Wentz has 2 more touchdowns thrown than Russell Wilson has, and he hasn't played since week 6. We just got done with week 12.
Yikes.
This is what Russell Wilson said about the interaction with Purcell, number 98 for the Broncos, as he was running off the field, and Russell Wilson seemingly coming on the field to not create any points probably for the 100th time this season. Russell Wilson said this is what Purcell told him.
You know, he came off. After I think they kicked the field goal, and he was pissed off. He just said, "We got to f and go," And I agree. So me and him on the same page.
Same page.
There's no animosity there at all. We're on the same page. We got to win. We got to come out here and have some grit to us, some mentality to us. We got to be able to win these these football games, and so those guys are out there battling every play. On offense, we got to be able to capitalize, and so yeah, no, there's nothing there at all. I mean, me and him, there was no nothing there.
So
Oh, man.
seemingly nothing there, which I can respect. And maybe that is what Purcell says, and maybe he's a great leader and says that to a lot of people. But anything that happens to Russell Wilson in 2022, we are certainly going to talk about, mostly because he sounds like a big fugazi and the team stinks.
Yes.
That's right.
And he got $100 and some million before he even took a snap for this new team, and the team stinks. The team isn't fun to watch. All the magic that we thought we were going to get from Russell Wilson in Denver, a team that allegedly would have won a Super Bowl if they were able to get a good quarterback in there. They go all in. They get Russell Wilson. Now they're sending like a top 5 pick to Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle's balling. They lose to the Raiders because Josh Jacobs has the biggest day of all time. But they have like a top 5 pick from the Broncos. They don't have Russell Wilson or Team 3 in their building anymore. Seattle Seahawks seem to be a bunch of fucking heroes here. But Purcell says, listen, I'm a leader on the D. I'm a leader on the team. This guy's not holding up his end of the bargain. Let's go. I like that from a team, and I like the way Russell Wilson obviously spun at the end. We're on the same. I think so too. Hey, I'm trying to get it all there. Purcell said he's just trying to spark. That's at least a little bit of hope, but that defense has certainly thought they were getting something much different than what Russell Wilson has brought.
Yeah, I doubt they expected to, send off their best pass rusher like we mentioned with Chubb. But this answers all of our questions about why, no one on the Denver team has kind of spoken out when all these former Seahawks players have talked about how Russell Wilson was as a teammate, right? Like, does that confirm everything that's been said by Richard Sherman and the other players, Marshawn, about how you couldn't really reach out to him and everything?
I think Purcell was comfortable enough to say it to him, right?
Yeah, true.
So you could take that either way. I don't know because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I have people in that building that I could reach out to and get the story to, but I don't want to put them in a compromising position either. I just assume all this information will come out at some point and we'll cover it as is. It is not going well there. Joining us now is a man who might have more on the inside of what's happening there and other places because he's the senior NFL insider, not only for the league itself, the National Football League,
Okay.
but also the network that the league owns. And listen to this, the website.
Wow,
Holy
NFL.com.
Yeah, he's also on NFL.com
Jeez.
and NFL Plus. And he has a podcast with two other insiders where they wear T-shirts and talk about stuff called The Insiders. Ladies and gentlemen,
Fun.
host of the weekly wrap-up with Rap Sheet and Friends, us being the friends, he being Rap Sheet, Ian Rapoport.
By the way, just to let you know how seriously I take my appearances on this show, I do wear a T-shirt for the show on The Insiders, which you can find Fast Networks and also on YouTube. It's
Too bad I couldn't get the plug in.
Hey, you lost service immediately upon doing your plug. I mean, that was perfect.
Yeah.
That was the NFL saying, your podcast gets no love, pal. Okay, let's move on. I apologize for that. Where can we find the podcast? All podcast networks, I assume, right?
It's on YouTube. It's on the Fast Networks. It's going to become a podcast
Fast
maybe
Networks.
eventually down the road. Yeah. Roku is one of them. Do you know what Roku is?
Oh,
that's
yeah.
huge.
Wow.
Rich Eisen's on there.
every TV.
I watched.
He is on there.
30
Roku's a
million
big
homes.
thing nowadays.
Absolutely, always has been. Roku's fantastic. I watched the NFL kickoff show, NFL Game Day. I think it's a great show. I think they do a fantastic job. Rich had like a good minute and a half commercial for his show on there, and I'm like, fucking good business here, Rich.
There we go.
This is good business. And then you came on,
I mean-
and you talked about your podcast. You, alongside Garofalo and Pelissero, which I assume is the Fast Network show that you have, he cut a promo about
exactly.
Ian Rapoport cut a promo about the podcast, then transitioned into the day. I actually sent him a text at that moment. I was like, good business here, Rap.
There we go.
Good business here,
Hey,
Rap. You're
Rap.
doing great. You deserve it. I hope the Insiders does fantastic. And obviously, we've all heard of the Fast Network. What a
Oh,
place.
yeah, man. Nothing better.
What a place.
Great,
the Fast
great
Network.
Ride of the
place.
Fast.
Yep, agreed.
Absolutely. Let's dive into some news stories here. We were just talking about Russell Wilson and Purcell yelling at each other, or Purcell telling them, hey, figure it out. There's no way that ends after this year, right? What are they going to do? They're going to have to figure that out. That team is abysmal, and there's no way the richest owner in sports, Mr. Bob Walton there, bought that team, paid Russell Wilson to watch that team do the way they do. How are they going to figure that out, you think, and what does the future look like over there?
I mean, there's no sugarcoating anything that's happened in Denver this year. Like, they made a bunch of decisions before the year, decisions they thought were really good, hired a bright young coach in Nathaniel Hackett. They traded for a quarterback that a lot of other people wanted to trade for. I mean, there were several teams, including the Washington Commanders, we've talked about this before, that wanted to trade for Russell Wilson. He wanted to go to Denver. He ends up in Denver. A big coup, and it's all bad. Everything is bad. The contract is bad. Literally, I mean, it's great for Russell Wilson, but it's bad for literally everyone else. Let's just assume that the Penner family, Walton Penner family, has a decision to make at the end of the year for Nathaniel Hackett. If they decide to move on, which certainly is conceivable, it seems like they would get a coach who would make Russell Wilson really good again. Like, he's not going anywhere. It would be mind-boggling to think they would move on from him because the cap hit would be so astronomical. You could do it, but it would set your team back significantly. So I would imagine it would be a coach who says, you know what, I can make this guy work. I'm not going to say make Russell Wilson great again, but let's just say I said that, something in that line.
Oh, patent it. You should patent that.
Yeah, you should.
patent it. Put that on the Insiders. Put it on the Fast Network. Maybe make some shirts.
Actually. But I think that's going to be the focus of the offseason.
Okay, and obviously everybody's going to say they can make Russell Wilson great again. I'll be excited to see who can actually pull that off because he looks like a very different player. Looks like he has no idea what's going on. He seems like we watch D-Butt talk about it. We watch Chuck talk about it. We watch AQ talk about it. It's all dysfunctional. And we're after week 12 already, and this is still happening. We assume there'll be growing pains, which was talked about early in the season. I think mostly by Herbie and Al Michaels when they played the Colts on Thursday night about how all words out of the Broncos like, hey, there's some growing pains. We'll get through it. And I assume that's exactly what they thought it was at the time. But now it's like dysfunction. Now it just seems like it's broken. Who knows if they can fix it? And is Russ liked over there? Do you know?
I mean, I think when things are going bad, it's always tense. So, like, I don't think anyone's happy with anyone right now, but look, Russ is, if you if you needed to know what teammates think of him, all you need to do is go to Seattle. I'm not saying it's universal, but there are plenty of people that decided this guy is just not for me. And a lot of them have spoken out way more than I can ever remember ex-teammates speaking out about anything. Like, of all the stuff, of all the material that we have from the Richard Shermans of the world or the, so many of the ex-Legion of Boom guys, like, they've all spoken their mind about Russell Wilson in a way that no one else speaks their mind about their former teammate. I mean, think about this. When Denver went back to Seattle, it was the opener, right? Yeah. It was the opener. They invited all the veterans on the defense just to come watch. Like, I don't think they were there to cheer for Russell Wilson. I'm just going out on a limb. I don't think that.
And Pete, after the game,
not
said,
for everyone.
And Pete said after the game, that was for everybody that was here because they know what it is. And I'm like, damn.
Okay.
Yeah, Pete normally doesn't mix words at all. I was like, all right, okay. This is for everybody that was here and knows what it was like. What's that?
100%. But when you're good enough, it doesn't matter.
When you win.
Right? Like, you can be, when you win, it doesn't matter. And when you play well enough yourself, you can sort of be whatever you want. Like, a quarterback is a leader, unless he's losing, in which case he's just a jerk yelling at everyone. Like, there's some of that going on as well.
Yeah, but if you're yelling at everybody, there's probably a reason. You're probably holding people accountable, and it's working. You can, at any position,
that's true.
At any position, let alone quarterback in the NFL. I'm talking about any business, any genre. The person that's in charge can do as much barking if it works. But then people are going to get, if it's not working, it's like, hey, I think we need
See ya.
Maybe a new voice in here. That's just natural human instinct. I don't know what's going on in Denver, but hopefully they'll be able to figure it out.
Bad.
Let's go to Green Bay after last night's loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, Jordan Love comes in because Aaron had a midsection, and obviously he has a fractured thumb since week 5, which I hadn't heard reported from any of the insiders on any Fast Network or the NFL Network, which is fascinating. Made our show much worse than it probably could have been because we get a chance to chat to the guy. Nonetheless, he didn't tell us either, so we're not going to hold it against you. The man.
That's messed up.
Well, he talked around it. I actually, when it came out officially, I think by you Sunday morning or whatever, when it came out officially, I thought back. I didn't listen back, but I thought back to when I asked him about it on Tuesday because there was early reports about the fracture. And I said, you're throwing the ball wobbly. I went on a whole promo about you're throwing the ball wobbly for the first time in your career. Have you lost it was almost what I asked. And I said, now there's reports that you have a fractured thumb. How much does that affect it? And he said, I played with other broken fingers before. It hasn't really done anything. I asked him if he's going to wear a glove. He said he'll never wear a glove and it hasn't affected anything. So he didn't deny it, but he didn't say he had a fractured thumb. So it was a little words play. That I'm immunized. Nobody has to follow up. We move on. It was one of
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those where I probably should have. So it is fractures, what I probably should have. And he would have told the truth. I think he would have told the truth to us, but I didn't press him on it or whatever. That's obviously affected some things. I think the new offense has affected some things. Then he gets hit a bunch. Something happened to his ribs. And then on the air last night, they're talking about maybe the last time we ever see Aaron Rodgers. This morning, the conversation is should the Packers pull Aaron Rodgers from the game if he's hurt for the rest of the season? What are you hearing? And what is up with Aaron Rodgers? Before we talk to him tomorrow, what do you know?
Okay, first of all, on the thumb, you talk about the insiders didn't tell you about the thumb. You know how it broke? Not the thumb. The thumb we know how it broke. But you know how the story originally broke?
No.
It was this Packers podcaster named Big B who was on his Make-A-Wish weekend, asked Rodgers, and then tweeted it. Scooped all of us. It was amazing.
Shout out, Big B.
Big B. Love you, Big B. Oh.
Great. I was kind of annoyed, but good for him.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I want
Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish.
Down,
you asshole.
I was annoyed.
Yeah, it's one scoop, prick.
A make-a.
Good job, Big B. Anyway, I shouted him out on Twitter, though.
At least you get credit. Okay. All right, at least you get credit because you suits don't like to do that. A lot of people like to do my source. After something's already broke, let me confirm it with my sources, even though, somebody certainly already. That's weird waters you guys kind of swim in every day. We appreciate your hard work, though. And shout out to Big B.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big B. Anyways, go ahead, Zoe.
So with Rodgers, first of all, respect to him for just playing through this and not using any of it as an excuse. He's probably annoyed to have to talk about it. Clearly something's been wrong for a while, and he hasn't said anything about it, even though he probably could have many, many times. I think he's going to try to play. He's getting his CT scan and MRI in his ribs today, if it's one of those things where the x-rays are negative, but the CT scan shows a bunch of fractures, probably won't be able to play. But otherwise, I think he's going to try to play until they're just out of it. Because the problem when you have Aaron Rodgers is they could win 5 in a row, like nothing. And so when that possibility exists, it's almost like he has to play, because if he doesn't, he's robbing a team of some potential win streak they could go on.
Okay, got it. Jordan Love didn't do that bad. Hey, it's nice to see Jordan Love. He looked better. He threw the ball around, looked a lot better than he looked last year. We'll obviously keep our eyes on that. LaFleur is completely safe no matter what happens this season.
He might be a guy who could fix Russell Wilson.
You think get him to Denver with Hackett?
Yeah.
Keep
Reunite the boys.
I mean,
that's a Packers fan right there that just said that. That's why I asked you that question. LaFleur's completely safe, yeah? No problems?
I would be well beyond stunned if anything happened. I think he's completely safe.
Boston Connor, your question for Ian Rapoport.
Yeah, Raps, you do me a favor and explain to me what happened with Odell Beckham like I'm 5 years old, and will this affect any of the teams that he's looking at?
Hey, was this hey, this seems, and I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be a mean person. I appreciate everybody that helps anybody do anything in the world. Okay? Flight attendants, great people. There's some, just like any profession, that are a bit power hungry, and in those particular situations, I'm not saying this is what happened to Odell. I have experiences. I was on a flight, long one, sleeping during mask time. I was woken up by flight attendant who was saving the world, I appreciate that, to tell me that my mask was not high enough up on my nose, okay? Woke me up, middle of sleep, in a pod, no big deal, I do well, in a pod, wake me up, move from here to here, woke me up. And I thought to myself, wow, I could see how this is maybe a thing if somebody who maybe didn't have as many vitamins as I potentially had at the moment would react to that happening. I'm not saying that's the only time that's happened. There's been other flight attendants who have certainly done things in the past that have saved lives and helped the world. But there are also some, just like in any profession, that are seemingly power-hungry assholes. Is that what happened with Odell Beckham Jr.? And why is he not arrested? That has to be the only reason, right? That has to be what happened. And is there any punishment coming on the back end there for the entire scene from the flight attendant?
I mean, not arrested, not detained, got home in his own accord, basically nothing. So I don't know the answer, but I wondered all the same things. Like, if his story is true, which we will never know, the world will never know whether or not this guy was willing to put his seatbelt on. I'm dying to know, because what he says is he was going to put his seatbelt on, and they were basically like, too late, seatbelt's off, we're going in, or we're taking everyone else in. So I'm dying to know, was he willing to put his seatbelt on? Where were we? I have a lot of questions, but it does seem that there was a situation where he was not in his 100% best state, I would say.
He was out
maybe
like a
really
light.
Tired would be my guess.
Like a light.
Probably very tired.
5-hour flight.
He had the blanket over his head. Seatbelt was not on.
34B.
He was awoken. They described him as in and out of consciousness, which another way would be sleeping, maybe, or not. I don't know.
When I got arrested, they said I couldn't stand up on my own accord. They had me handcuffed sitting on the ground. What am I, a ninja warrior? I mean, what am I? Am I going to kip up on cement at 4 a.m.? I don't know. The way they worded it, though, was like this guy couldn't stand up. It's like my body. I was literally rolling like this. Do you need our help? Yeah, I guess. Then they're right in there. Couldn't stand on his own accord. It's like, no shit.
You're supposed to break your arms and stand up.
What am I, a Beverly Hills Ninja, dude? What are we doing? It sounds like a bunch of bullshit. And once again, this is not for all flight attendants. There are amazing flight attendants out there. I'm not saying that. But any of us who have traveled ever, okay, have experienced somebody that is put in a position of power that really loves it, really enjoys it. And flight attendants on some of those flights have a little power hungry badge, and they're not trying to get you to the next destination. They're trying to get you to listen to them during the flight to the next destination. It's like, you're in my world now, fucking grandpa, almost. It's like, Jesus Christ, I'm thankful for what you're doing. I can never do your job, but relax, please.
I mean, this is like if you ever been in a stadium and you kind of are taking a last look at the field and the security, can you just leave? And I'm like, I really want to see the field. Anyway,
I've never done that.
Wait, hold on.
But I do appreciate that. But yes, security people, same people. Races, games, yellow coats, classic situation. Some flight attendants have the same yellow coat kind of demeanor in situations. That sounds like this is what happened. Not that I'm just automatically going to stick up for the player. Usually going to, because why would Odell Beckham in this moment of his life want to fuck up?
Right.
I don't think he would want to fuck up right now. So I'm just going to take him at his word that, like, this is bullshit.
Yes.
Because it sounds like it to me. That's just me sniffing around from my own personal experience. Not that all flight attendants are bad. Happy to hear that. Nobody's dropping them, right? That's what I heard?
I think it's all fine. I don't get the sense anything will affect any free agency at all.
What?
Good. I'm happy others who have traveled have been like, yep, were you on American Airlines? Yeah. Was it the, yeah.
Okay.
We know.
Hey, Dapper.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we
Barb.
know. Diggs, your question for Ian.
All right, Ian, who hates who more? Does Cliff hate Kyler more, or does Kyler hate Cliff more? And is Cliff safe? Because that seems like a tumultuous situation.
First of all, I think the relationship is a little better. I talked to, let's just say, sources close to the situation there over the weekend. We were like, it was not good. It was tense. Nobody denied it was tense at all. When he stepped away with the hamstring or was forced to step away, they kind of got together, same page, and tried to figure it out. I'm sure you're talking about the quote that Kyler said about basically we were effed schematically, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was talking about one specific play where the Chargers basically called them on it. Like the Chargers knew what was coming, beat them. It was the 4th and 1. So on that play specifically was bad, but I think they are okay going forward. Answer your question about Cliff.
Go ahead.
Almost always when someone gets a contract extension, they were safe the next year. Almost always, it's a ridiculous thing to ask. That said, the trajectory there is not great. And this is an owner who moved on from a coach after 1 year with a big contract and a first-round quarterback after 1 year also. So I don't think anything's happening, but I'm not going to say that that's a ridiculous question, and it'll be something to monitor at least going forward.
Okay, so it sounds like your sources have told you, like, things better pick up here, or that long-term contract that we gave to Cliff Kingsbury, we also gave a long-term one to the quarterback, so we're going to have to revisit it. That's a crucial piece of information that Cliff Kingsbury is probably just now learning from either the tweet that just got sent out or the show as a whole. Hey, let's figure it out, Cliff.
Good luck, Cliff.
You're super cool looking over there. Did the beef start with them whenever that contract clause went in there? And did Kyler think that Cliff was the reason why that contract clause of watching more film was in there? Is that why it started? Or how did this whole disagreement begin? Because you would think that the ownership wouldn't give extensions to the quarterback and the play caller head coach same year if there was ever beef. Did this just start this year, or how do we get to this point, you think?
They also have the same agent, by the way, just to spice it up a little bit.
Oh, Eric
Burkhart?
Burkhart, yep.
Yeah, Twitter fame. He wrote the they need to fucking pay us.
That's right.
Right before the combine.
He wrote that missive, remember, with the bold letters. Was it all caps, right? Wasn't it all caps?
Whatever it was 2 days before Keim had to speak at the combine. It was like quite a public chess play in there. Interesting, aggressive way to do business. But
oh yeah, and it worked. To answer your question, I think it's always tense with Kyler. Like I don't think with Cliff's always very like he works hard, but it's very chill. With Kyler, it's always tense. So like. I know we all, I mean, including me, like I did a thing on this weekend. We're all kind of focused on that relationship. I would imagine it's going to be tense with any coach and Kyler because he wants what he wants. He sees what he sees. He's very demonstrative about it. And he's kind of curt a little bit, like quick and like, come on, like he's very blunt. You know?
Short
very
with people.
Sounds like he's a prick.
nice. I'm excited.
I'm not going to say short because he's also.
Whoa!
He's also a short.
Can't do what you
it's
just
not
did.
even. Ian's 5'4". You're 5'4". Let's remember that. We saw that at Super Bowl
That's true.
and when you walked in around. And you know your little pal Mike Giardi. I just remember this with you talking about Kyler being short. Like Kyler would do this to you, Rap. You know what I mean? Kyler would do this.
Not true.
Kyler would do this to you.
Wow.
And Kyler would do this to you, and then Kyler would say, "Hey, you want to play tackle football?" And then he would just fucking run you right over to, which I think sometimes you reporters forget.
That part is true, yeah.
Mike Giardi goes, "I'm gonna break my own rule, and I'm gonna talk about kickers for one of his little things. A rookie kicker who's this big is kicking for the Tennessee Titans." Like Giardi, I looked into your bio. I don't think I ever seen you play any motherfucking sport. You want some broadcaster? That kicker who's this big would ragdoll you, Giardi. I just hope you know that. I just want him to know that because you guys get a little bit too comfortable with your microphones, I think, and the makeup and where you're at, what you can say, what you can't say. Let's remember that little guy, more athletic in his foot than you have in your whole body, Giardi. Just something to think about. And then you, Kyler Short. Who are you, Rapoport?
No, I'm a fellow short.
Okay. Now that does make sense, actually.
Okay, so fuck off to Giardi then, because there's you're good. You're good.
I'll tell you this. With all due respect to Giardi, I was offended by that too. My love for specialists.
Yeah, all right, Ian. Okay, Ty, last question for you, Ian. We appreciate you, buddy.
Rap sheet, just to put a bow on the Packers coaching situation. Obviously, LaFleur's not going anywhere, but has enough happened this year that Joe Barry's going to get shit canned? And then switching gears slightly, after what we saw yesterday with the Jets, are they just going to go all in with Mike White now? We're not going to see Zach Wilson play the rest of this year, right? They can't do that.
Okay, first question first. I don't get the sense that Joe Barry's in as much trouble as some people think.
He should. He sucks at his job.
But I think he's going to be okay. I'll tell you what's interesting to me. They lost a lot of offensive brain power, I guess, in the offseason. Getsy went. Obviously, Nathaniel Hackett. I wouldn't be surprised if they add some things on offense rather than take away on defense. Especially, and I don't know what's going to happen, but there is obviously a possibility that Hackett's available. I wouldn't be surprised to see them add on offense there. What was your other question?
Mike White.
Mike White's the guy, right?
Mike White, yeah. They got to go with him until he looked great. That is I know you always say, that is a dude, players love Mike White.
Yeah, White chance.
He's probably the smartest guy in the room, and guys love him. They do want to get Zach back out there. Sure. They have a plan for it. Why? Apparently, if you're keeping winning, I don't know how you change anything. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, Mike White put up, 400 against the Bengals last year.
Yep.
He didn't do as well against New England and Buffalo last year, but those are two of the top defenses in the NFL. He played against the Colts, and he had a nerve thing happen. He drove right down the field against the Colts on the first drive, and then something happened in his forearm. He could no longer feel the ball, and they didn't know what it was. And then his feeling came back right after the game, immediately after. I'm so thankful that happened because we would have lost to Mike White probably last year. Everything about him, he just oozes moxie too whenever he talks, whenever he acts. The wink is just such a clean depiction of what it feels like it is whenever he's in there. For the New York market, a guy that's been overlooked, a guy that's had to overcome some things and has swagger, feels like he's the perfect fit. I have a couple Jets fans in my Rolodex on my phone. A lot of texts yesterday. Mike fucking White. That's all anybody was saying. And I don't know how Zach gets back into good graces there, Rap. Honestly, I have no idea how it happens.
I don't know either. It's a great reality because if White was terrible, all we would talk about is when to get Zach back. So hopefully for them, this is just the problem that they have, which is they can't put their first-round quarterback back in because the other guy's so good.
Remember when Jerry Jones said, "What's going on over there?" as a 14-year-old, and then he also said, "I hope that the quarterback plays as good as he possibly can, so we have a quarterback controversy."
Yep.
You remember when he said that?
Yeah.
And then Cooper Kush did his thing. Then Cooper got hurt, and then Dak was able to come back immediately. Cooper had a bad game and was able to come back immediately. Maybe that's what they're thinking for the Jets. Who knows how this is going to go with Mike White? We got to keep Zach up and positive. Hopefully he'll learn, and we'll keep him moving. We appreciate the hell out of you, Rap. You're the man.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're Rapoport.
Yeah.
Great analogy.
He did say that.
Yeah.
The heck's going on?
What's going on?
Man, I cannot. That was wild.
How'd they find that picture?
How have they not?
That's what I'm saying. Are we?
Is that Snyder?
Oh, yeah. 110%.
Speaking of Snyder, I have to correct something. Sean Taylor did wear soccer cleats before anybody else.
But not.
He did not wear the Copa Mundials. He wore Nike Total 90s. Yeah, they were a great shoe. You used to be able to really turn a ball. He could bend it like Beckham in those things. He used to wear those on the field. His daughter actually said that she was most thankful that they put soccer cleats in there because it seemed as if they were thinking. Even though they were the wrong soccer cleats, he was ahead of the game. So I stand corrected there. He did wear soccer cleats before anybody else, which goes to even more of the importance of how fucking heady of a football player was, ahead of his time he was, how great he was, for that to be a statue. Obviously, Commander's move, but I was wrong on that, so I'd like to get that corrected. We learned a lot there from Rap, didn't we?
Yeah, a lot.
Big thanks. So what did you learn?
I learned that Zach Wilson's the next quarterback of the Carolina Panthers.
I learned it.
Colts me.
I learned
Sure.
that Cliff might be on a hot seat.
Yeah, that's interesting for Cliff to learn. He just signed an extension. I assume that money's guaranteed, so he might be a pro golfer or a narco guy in that house.
Yeah. Maybe
Right.
be OC in Nebraska.
They lose to the Chargers because Staley does a Staley thing and goes for two. Big time win. I was thinking if the Chargers lose that game,
Staley.
Staley.
100%.
Maybe out the door today.
And then all of a sudden, boom, end of the game. Herbert and the boys do their thing, pick up a big 2-point conversion, get a win. I love that move. I love that call. I love the Sunday slate. Let's get to a break. Hour 2 will be on the other side of this 5-minute break. A.J. Hawk from College Game Day guest picking fame.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how he did. I have no idea. I couldn't really hear much of him. That was an interesting show on Saturday for sure there on College Game Day. It was great to see AJ, though. There was a couple moments where I just looked at AJ. Look at us, man. Look what we did. It was cool. There's a couple good photos that were taken by Lil Herbie off from the side that I'm going to appreciate. Probably get one put up in here. Maybe AJ will sign it before just
knocking everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Jesus. That second half.
All right, be a friend, tell a friend. We'll take 5. Hour 2's on the other side. Big thanks to Ian Rapoport for joining us.
Right.
And big thanks to the NFL for existing. We'll see you in 5. Take 5. Because who knows what's going to happen with the Jets? Mike White.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Look out.
Like, I think I probably should have been number 1 overall pick.
It's bullshit.
Mike White.
Yeah.
Now, listen, he had one incredible game and a drive that looked like he was going to be unstoppable. But the Jets locker room is chanting Mike White's name. He actually said they won't stop chanting my name. So, couple quick things. Is Zach Wilson present when the entire locker room is chanting Mike White's name?
Hope not.
Because the fans are doing it. Now his teammates are doing it. And then Mike White saying, I think I should have been number 1 overall pick. Is that him saying, Zach number 2? I don't know if you remember that. I remember. Like all these subliminal potential messages that are being sent out, not from Mike White to deal with. But it is awesome to kind of get a grasp that in that building, I believe there is a real belief like, hey, this guy is our guy going forward. Why not this guy who appears to be much better than the other guy? I'm excited to see how the Joe Douglas level that drafted Zach Wilson number 2 overall, they also signed Mike White, by the way.
Yeah.
I wonder how they'll deal with that since they invested that whole thing. And Zach Wilson said, yeah, you're right. I probably could learn some things from Mike White.
Yeah, ballpark.
Sit back and watch this thing.
I believe Zach Wilson did also say, when you look at it, I do need to play more like Mike White does. So I think mentally
Self-aware.
he might already
That's
be
smart.
saying,
He's learning.
get me out of here. I can't beat this guy out.
Oh, okay.
This guy's a legend.
That's what he's thinking. Maybe that is the case.
Big brain football.
Breaking news. The Kansas City Chiefs are really fucking good at football.
Kelce over the middle, length to the end zone, touchdown, Kansas City.
Big reason for that? A lot of big brains running around in Chiefs jerseys on Sunday. What? Monday? What? Thursday? What? In America? What? In England? What? No matter where they play, they have high IQ. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
I hit him with the bing bing, and that just go. Just go. Yeah. His eyes were in the backfield. As soon as I hit the 1-2, I was out of there. I knew I had nothing in the middle.
The middle was wide open because of Sky Moore, rookie, and MVS Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Clear out in a post to occupy the safeties, and Travis Kelce's able to waltz right in for his 72nd NFL touchdown. Bravo, Travis Kelce, and thanks for the big brain football by MVS and Sky Moore.
Who's backside? Go ahead, that was you? Yeah. Were you backside? Good. Baby, way to clear that. Who was that backside post?
Scott.
Huh?
I think Scott.
Scott? That went too full. Hey, Scott.
Kansas City's receivers might not be big names in the kingdom just yet, but they got big old brains. It wasn't a coincidence MVS was open down the seam. No.
You either cross the half, you right on the half. Yeah, I literally, because they went invert, so I saw the safety run way over there. The other ones, I'm like, safety throw out the half.
Against the inverted safeties, MVS knew that the middle of the field would be wide open. Mahomes had a hunch that the 4.37 speed on a linebacker might be a favorable matchup.
A dart thrown by Patrick Mahomes.
Great job.
Yes, sir.
One of the problems sometimes when you try and disguise coverages and drop somebody back late, you can zip somebody right past it. And it's exactly what happened with Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
The safety pressure, immediate invert. That's what I need every time.
Knowing coverages and how to beat them, that's smart football. But what Mahomes did on his second touchdown pass was a work of wizardry in the art of football IQ.
At the 2, they fake the trap. Now Mahomes scrambling to his right, holding it, gets off the hit, now lunging forward, and now fires it late, caught at the back of the end zone. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mahomes with the touchdown pass.
Absolute banana land. Dude takes a snap, scrambles around for 7 seconds, which is almost a full bull ride, okay? Almost full bull ride. Spins, throws a touchdown, all the while remembering that they snapped the ball on the 2-yard line, and he cannot cross that line and still throw a football.
Yo, I'm close. You got it. As long as you're there, you're good.
You get out of the pocket. Great. You make one of the league's best linebackers miss. Even better. But to stay behind the line of scrimmage so you can throw a touchdown, that's some big brain football.
I had to make up for it. I had to make up for it. I had to make up for that. I had to make up for that miss, baby.
2 plays before, wide open touchdown. Patrick says, you know what, too easy. Let's make things a little bit more difficult. I'm gonna miss this pass, be upset about it, but then I'm gonna make magic.
I was able to use my speed to get a little bit of speed to get around the edge there. I was gonna run for it and they kind of flew around and I realized I wasn't gonna make it and I saw Clyde and so I just kind of flicked it up to him.
It's the line of scrimmage aspect of knowing that he's not going to throw the ball, past the line of scrimmage, and Pat is good, but kind of sensing where he is.
Stop, and now he's going to find the receiver. Stop it. Stop it.
The NFL hasn't seen anything like Pat Mahomes, I promise you that. And you saw it today. He's the Houdini of our era, man.
That's big brain football.
Y'all saw that? I know y'all saw that. That's right. That's something you do on Mac.
I love this Kansas City Chiefs team. I love how smart they are. I love how innovative they are. I love how creative they are. They had a tight end take a snap under center while Patrick Mahomes was having a little thespian acting job to distract everybody.
Now a direct snap, and the Chiefs trying to shove forward, touchdown!
The Chiefs are athletic. The Chiefs are fast. The Chiefs are magical. Andy Reid has a big brain and a beautiful mustache, but most importantly, they have a lot of guys that master the art of big brain football.
Hey.
What?
Let's go.
This show fucking stinks. And the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Boston
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Overreaction Monday, November 28, 2022. Hour 2 starts right now. Football is kicking ass, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Most watched, everything happening in football right now. It is an honor to be here every single afternoon, chit-chatting with you about the league that is the professional of American football. The Talks the Table is here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. All the boys in the back, I appreciate you. CFO Phil made it to town.
Wow, really? Phil.
Brought Lil Phil, Papa Maines as well.
What?
Obviously, the
Phil.
Pittsburgh
Hell yeah.
Steelers are traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts this evening. So Phil's here to see that, say hello to the boys. It's great to see all of them. Mitt's doing fantastic. He's walking again. Got a little bit of recovery on his ankle that he separated or broke skateboarding.
That's right.
I'm sure that's real.
Is he walking?
What's that?
You know?
He is. He's got a pretty good little. His gait right now a little bit slower than it was. It's a lot better though than when he was clanking around.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just everywhere. Happy he's feeling better, baby.
Hey, good work, Mitt.
Joining us now is a man who, I got to see 2 times in the last 4 days.
That's nice.
In person.
Lucky.
This dude rode his Serial 1 bike 6 miles to dinner on Friday night. 50 degrees raining.
Really? Of course.
Yeah, because he lives close to Columbus. 6 miles away from Columbus where we were having dinner. He rode his bike. I'm sure he's got 45 cars. He was number 5 overall pick. I'm sure every dealer in town has given him a rental to drive around for free. Rode his Serial 1 bike 6 miles. Showed up, obviously, a little bit wet, drenched, sat down, had his meal. Then he hops off on that thing and rides through the people, and he's out of there. One of the best machines of a human of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He's an Ohio State legend. He's got their fucking dicks kicked in by Michigan. Yet again, another year. Got out physicaled by a team up north. Sorry about it. He's a Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. They just got
their dicks kicked in
by the Philadelphia Eagles. Tough. Tough. He's one of the toughest people of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. Everything you're associated with AJ is getting out toughed, out physical. It's a tough day to be in Ohio, and it's a tough day to be AJ Hawk. Great to see you, pal.
Yeah, it's a tough weekend, I guess, for a couple of former teams that I played with. But I don't know. Brighter times ahead, I hope. We'll see.
It was great seeing you on Friday night, getting a chance to chat with you. Taylor Lewan was also at dinner with us, Herb Street and the boys. It was a cool convo there at Jeff Ruby's. Herb Street has the Kirk Herbstreit roll on the menu.
Yeah.
We ordered 3 of them. We'll take 3 of the Herbstreit rolls from the Herbstreit family ordered. We'll take 3 of the Herbstreit rolls. And I was like, well,
hold on.
What is that? Is that off? It's right there, fucking front page. Jeff Ruby's Steakhouses everywhere. I guess there's one in Nashville, Ohio, Texas, or all over the place. The Herbstreit rolls, delicious.
Oh.
I mean, absolutely. Not just put his name on one that is shit, or put his name, had the whole thing, ate a nice dinner. AJ had a steak and asparagus.
What? Hey. Hold
Chicken
on.
and rice, a little bit of a curveball, huh?
shit.
Feel Good Friday, having one of those.
Did you tell?
It was
AJ?
great to see you, AJ. What were you going to say?
Did you inform AJ, like, hey, I don't know what Bobby Carpenter told you, but you can still get a DUI on that fucking bike, even though, like, it's...
On the Serial 1,
Yeah.
the pedal assist?
Yeah, I know the law.
Nick, you remember we were up in Canada? Saw a guy get a DUI on a motorized wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Sitting up high, rolling through a crowd of people right outside of Boston Sports, I think, which is in the new part, I think, or old part. I haven't been up there in a long time. Clifton Hill. Great. There's a casino there.
He's lucky the Mounties didn't take him down.
Well, they got off their horses, grabbed him off.
Oh, geez. Did they do
Ripped him out of the chair?
Put him in.
Did they write in the report he couldn't
was-
stand up? or-
Well, yeah. Well,
Like the-
I don't know if they did that to kind of pump up the numbers on
Yeah.
the police report so that when people read it later, it sounds worse. That guy was an asshole. That was a guy who was a drunk asshole on a motorized wheelchair, though. He was running into people's, he was giving people, heelies,
boy.
like running up to people.
He was just healing.
Yeah, he's just healing out there. He was being a heel. Yeah, I've seen him get arrested on one of those. You had a couple alcoholic drinks. Did you get pulled over on the way home, or was somebody like, oh, it's 50 degrees? It's obvious this guy's intoxicated riding this bike 6 miles back home. Did that happen at all, or did you get home safe?
No, I got home safe, and I may have had a couple whiskeys, but I was out of the limit, so I understand the law, but I was definitely bobbing and weaving. There was a hockey game that was happening at the arena next door, basically, so on the way there, I was at a little stop walk or whatever, a little crosswalk with about 400 other people, and I'm right in the middle of them on my bike, and they're all cruising around just looking at me. So it was fun, though, man.
And then what?
I was tired. I was tired going into dinner, so it kind of woke me up. I was glad.
Okay. And then what? When you were sitting there and you were around a bunch of people, I think you had directions on your phone on your left hand. What happened? Did something happen there?
No, you're talking earlier in the trip. There's a little pub I was driving by, and I had my directions. I didn't know how to get there. Obviously, it was 6.5 miles away, so I'm using GPS on my phone. So I put it on a little, I got a little holder deal on that bike right there. That bike is very nice. Thank you guys, Bruce.
Serial 1 is a great company.
Shout out Serial 1.
It's pedal assist.
Serial 1.
6 miles is not 6 miles on the Serial 1 bike, but when it's 50 degrees, too, also a little bit of a miserable experience.
Yeah, it wasn't Yeah, it wasn't about like the physical. Like I wasn't trying to get a good workout. It was, it's pedal assist, so I'm still pedaling as hard as you want. Like I was rolling on the way home, but no, I got my phone out to try to change. I have my little earbuds in, listen to tunes, try to change it, drop it in the crosswalk, right outside the Naughty Pine, the bar, and they're all sitting there watching me try to fumble around the street.
Is that AJ Hawk? This is in Columbus, Ohio, where this guy is the face of, you know what I mean?
They had no idea, anything. No one knew.
Oh, as soon as they saw that jaw
they
get
just saw a
off.
person.
Like, is that AJ? That's AJ Hawk.
Holy
and then he
shit.
was fumbling with his fingers, obviously,
course, they saw
with
that.
gloves on, fumbling for the phone there. And then he gets back on. And the only reason I know that happened because I asked, I was like, how was the trip? A little adversity outside Naughty Pine. So I'm like, what the fuck is the Naughty Pine? He's like, drop the phone in front of about 400 people. Had to get it back while they were all eyeballing me. I saw him eyeballing me, got through it, got the phone, got back. And I just started like dying laughing, thinking about this fucking meathead being like, good drive. It's only 6.5 miles though. Might as well get a little extra workout in on Friday night after Thanksgiving, do the whole thing. I appreciate you stopping by. Did you enjoy yourself on game day? I thought you did great. I thought you sounded really smart when you made your picks.
Yeah, I'm sure I hit on like maybe 2 of my picks of the 10 I believe I made. I think it was a tough weekend for picks for me, but I had a great time. Honestly, it was fun. Thank you guys for having me. It was awesome sitting up there next to you and Coach Lee Corso. Got to sit in that. Like, I've spent a little bit of time around him like 10, 15 years ago. It was awesome to be back with him, and obviously Kirk and Reese and Dez. Like I made sure to tell them all, like, you guys are good, man. You guys are all very, very professional. I'm impressed.
27 years Herb Street's been doing that show. 30, I think, Lee's been doing it.
God damn.
Long time.
Think about how long that is. That is long.
So did he go straight from coaching straight on to game day?
I think so, yeah. I would assume that'd be the case. He's 87. Beat Montana a week ago.
Yeah.
Montana was 4 degrees or whatever.
Yeah, unreal.
A lot of people on the internet, why are they putting Lee Corso out there? What is so cold, a poor man? Beat it.
Yeah.
I actually was thinking the same thing a couple times I saw him. I'm like, this is the one that I don't know old people that well. My grandparents passed away and exited my life whenever I was very young. So I don't have a lot of relationships with older folks. I don't really understand older folks that much. I've gotten a chance to chat with a couple vets, whenever I do military stuff, and the stories are fantastic. And I assume there's a lot of wisdom that I've missed out on. But I just like everybody, like I saw people on Twitter asking that question. And I was like, valid question? Yeah, that is a valid question.
Does he want to be there, though? I would assume it's his choice.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. I don't know if Lee Corso is like any other older person on earth, though. This dude still scoots, like 87 years old, scooting around places. Hello, Patrick McAfee, like a full hello every time, like his energy. I'm like, damn, I don't think I'm making it past 50. This guy's 80, full career after the age of 50, still going at 87. So I think he wanted to be there. He beat it. He beat Montana, no big deal. It was great to have you there. There was a couple moments it stunk that we weren't in front of the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the stadium.
We're actually in the Michigan fans' home section.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think because Fox had the game, they had the other side. Mm-hmm. So where game day was the last time I was with game day when Ohio State had a game, it was on the other side coming out of the ramp where the drum major comes sprinting down or whatever. You came down that, and then it would be to the right is where game day was whenever we were there. Z, do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was when I was just dropping in, dropping out, like kind of a part of it. They felt obligated to invite me because I think people told them to invite me. Didn't really know what spot I should have on the show, though. So it was kind of an interesting thing there for a bit. Told them don't feel obligated to put me on. I'm already doing Mondays in New York, Tuesday, Wednesday in Indianapolis, Thursday on the road in the back of a box truck, Friday back in Indianapolis. Like, it's okay if I don't do it. They were always very nice to me, but it used to be on that side. So we were on the other side, right? We're on the left side out of the tunnel. It was the Michigan family section we were sitting in. That was an interesting little thing. That was
They asked me if I wanted to go up there. I guess so. I did like a little quick interview beforehand, and they said, "Hey, we haven't really like done this like this with guest picker. I guess like try to like intro you in." So she said we could stand right here, or you can go stand in the Michigan section if you want and make it like a fun thing if I'm like standing in the middle of all the Michigan fans, I guess. And I was like, I don't know if that's really my specialty. I could just do it right here.
I was walking around a lot during the show. There was a couple things I wasn't a part of, and there was really no direction on where I should stand. So I just started like walking around. Couldn't hear the show, couldn't see the show. I just started chatting with people. Ran into Brandon Bean down there.
Nice.
Me and Brandon Bean at about before the game kicked off during warm-ups had probably a 5 to 7 minute conversation about I thanked him 10 times I was like, man, thank you so much for fucking coming on our show. Like, I really appreciate you coming on our show. Like, that's a big deal. We have no relationship with the Bills.
He's awesome, too. He's great on the show.
So good.
I did not play for the Bills. You did not play for the Bills. It's not like we know a lot of people on the Bills, but the Bills have been so fucking kind to our show. Like, so kind to our show. We are so thankful, and we hope Vaughn's okay. Obviously, there's going to be full scans, and who knows when we'll get to chat with him next. He's been fantastic. It's been great learning about them. They're a fucking great team. Their fan base is awesome, and they've been so nice to us. So I made sure I told Brandon Bean that, like, 3 times during our conversation because I was just standing there aimlessly, like in the background, literally no clue what to do with myself. And everybody kind of had groups, so people would come up and like start talking to me, and then they would like drift away, and I'd just be standing there by myself. So Bean comes over, like hits me, and he goes, Brandon Bean, and I like was kind of holy fuck, of course you're here. What do you do? Hey, good to see you. We start chatting. He gave me the list of all the people he's scouting in warm-ups, what he was looking for, how he goes about trying to find guys at positions. That was like a 7-minute convo in the middle of that. Then I see I saw JT Barrett. I saw Beanie. I got a chance to like chat with. This is in warm-ups. Like game day's going on, the other one's going on. I'm just like standing in a spot where people are just walking through. I'm chatting with the ROTC. I chatted with I think I chatted with some very important people during this whole thing. It was a moment. It was like I think you made the right decision not going into the Michigan fans. But I think if you would have done something from the sideline, there was people everywhere there. I mean, that was awesome to see. Is it always like that, Ohio-Michigan, or is it always like that Ohio State games?
Ohio State games definitely, like, it's usually pretty packed sidelines, but that will be the most packed all year, obviously, a Michigan game when it lines up like that when they're both undefeated. So, yeah, I had a feeling it would be like that, and it was super cool. Awesome flyover as well. Like, everything was really nice.
There was 4 of them birds fly over. 3 tight, 1 on top. They were coming. A little late. What was that? Was that a timing?
Was it?
Was that the sign of miscommunication in the Ohio side from the beginning? Because normally – and I'm not judging anybody. All of these people that do this are much smarter than me, much tougher than me, much more educated, all of those things. Normally, though, that is something that is orchestrated in time. Hey, we're going to start this at this time, and then the planes have been given a heads up when they are to pass over this point of Earth at that time. So I don't know if something happened a little slower or not, but they came. I thought there was no flyover, which made me go, oh.
Wait a minute. It's weird.
No flyover. Then it kind of like settled down a little bit, and then those 4, hey, that was
They were low.
They were low.
They were low and nice. It was cool.
I was happy they were on our side. If I mean, you're flying out over somebody that we're not on the same side, it's like that's a powerful fucking piece of machinery right there. Flying very low, 4 of them, very loud. But yeah, maybe they saved it so people would get a second. Let the song
surprise them a little,
and then we're coming in with the
noise.
The big subwoofer in the back. I mean, it was fucking big. And then your team just got out physical, out toughed, out manned, out strategized. What's that all about? Why'd that happen, you think? We were both wrong?
I don't know. It was a tough game. Like, honestly, I felt like okay, they're going to figure it out. Like, eventually going to figure things out. But then Michigan, man, like, they just big play after big play after big play. Like, they couldn't stop them.
That kid had a massive day, JJ, and we thought that, the play action could be a pretty big deal for him if he was able to hit on him. He fucking hit on him.
Yeah.
This kid was supposed to come in and make Michigan a more explosive offense because of how talented he is. Then the offense just became run, run, run. They put up 419 on Penn State. People forget this. 419 yards rushing against Penn State earlier in the Big Ten matchup, and everybody just thought that was because Penn State was terrible. And then they didn't really play anybody else. They played Colorado State. I think they played UMass, maybe Hawaii.
Yep.
They played like nobody other than Big Ten. So this Ohio State game was literally their biggest test. Like, what are they? Like, yeah, they're able to bully people, but are they really bullying anybody? Penn State, what is Penn State? That's actually what people said. And then a week prior to against Illinois, almost lose. Illinois also a bully team. So, like, first team they got to play against that had some bodies and did some things they struggled with. I'll tell you what. I do not think Illinois is the norm for that team. I think Illinois was an anomaly. I think what Michigan has will face well in the college football playoff. I think they got it. I think they got a team.
I knew going in, like, I heard a lot about their offensive line coming into the game. Like, hey, these dudes, they play very well together. They're mean. They will push the pile. Like, they win the line of scrimmage a lot. And yeah, we saw it. We saw it happen for sure.
And then JJ makes some throws, and then their defense was humming, flying around. They looked like they were in a different gear.
There wasn't a whole lot open, man. I was sitting, like, I was watching, like, I had a good angle to see like a little bit up high, like in a box for part of it, and I'm watching. Wow,
was that
go with
Waxy's?
the ball.
Damn.
Was that Waxy's?
I find General Bob, and I just slide on in with my 4 kids and my wife, wherever Bob was.
Yeah, I asked him, I'm like, where are you watching the game? Because there was no real plan. I didn't really know where I was allowed to stand and did not want to get kicked off the field. Like, that is you never want to be seen saying, hey, you're not allowed to be. Never want to be in a place that I'm potentially not allowed to be at just because it's so uncomfortable. It's so awkward for all parties. Like, don't want to be a part of it. So I didn't know what the deal was. So I asked AJ, I'm like, where are you watching the game? He goes, I will probably sneak in one of these boxes around here. And I was like, sneak in? What do you mean? He goes, well, General Bob would just talk us into one, and then the kids will come in, eat the buffet, and then we'll just go to the next box or whatever. I'm like, this is awesome. And his wife goes, we never have a plan. The only thing we have passes for is for this moment right here, and then we got to figure it out with 4 kids going ahead. It was banana. It works out, though. Every single time. It works out for you, I guess. That's how Ohio State is.
Oh, it did this time. Yeah, we have seats outside, but we would have had to put our 2 youngest on our laps and all that, and it's super cramped, so we wanted to figure out, okay, how can we do this in a better way?
Well, congrats to Ohio being great hosts, everybody.
Yeah. Wow. If you're
including the Michigan Wolverine.
Yeah.
They beat your ass. So everything I said about Ohio State, I am now taking and saying about Michigan and adding, they're tougher than you too. So
perfect.
That's what I'm going to add, and I'm excited for it. What's the chant? What's the song you guys sing? We don't
Carmen, Ohio?
give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. The whole state of Michigan. The whole state of Michigan. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, 'cause we're from Ohio.
With the wheels on the bus.
How come you never told us about that? How come I had to learn that
I'm
when I was
impressed you know that. Good for you. I'm glad you know that.
I do my research. That's how I started game day.
Come on,
Mike was open.
I know you're professional.
I am pretty good at what I do. Got interrupted a little bit. I think I slid on a word or two, but I enjoy those moments. I enjoy learning about the towns that we go to. How come you didn't tell us that is the state song? I did not know that was the state song.
It's not the state song, but it's definitely something that people like to sing for sure.
Excluding We Are the People. It's the state song.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about a little bit of NFL news. Your buddy Aaron Rodgers, our buddy Aaron Rodgers, obviously last night they lose to the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. The Eagles continue to prove everything we just said about that Michigan team, very similar to this Eagles team. They're tough, they're hard-nosed, they're smart, they're cerebral. The defense flies around. They got a dude named Blankenship who went to Western Kentucky, who comes in, disguises a single high, then cuts off, intercepts one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, seemingly, I don't want to say outwitting Aaron, but certainly Aaron sees this guy, undrafted rookie, come in for CJ immediately think this part of the field should be pretty good for us to attack. And they did. They scored a touchdown in that area, but they go back there. Blankenship sells deep and then cuts off something, reading the quarterback the entire time. Undrafted fucking rookie. You got that guy playing like that? That just tells me that the entire defense, the entire coaching staff is fucking great, let alone Siriani being the dog that he is. He gets so mad about everything that happens to his players. Him motherfucking about Lane getting cut downfield was awesome to see, because you would hope that your coach would act that way. He seems to be all the way about it. And Jalen Hurts, fucking believable ability to know what to do, when to do it. It's not like he's just running just to run. It's whenever the best option is to run, he'll run. When the best option is to throw, he'll throw. He's young. I don't think anybody could have expected this type of production from this guy. He's obviously in the MVP conversation. Going into the year, it was like, the Eagles are great if their quarterback could play well. People didn't even know if Jalen Hurts was good at football coming into this season. Now he's taking over games. He's dominant, and he's fun to watch. And your Packers, AJ, we're on the receiving end of it. What are your thoughts on it all, and how impressed with this Eagles team are you?
Jeez.
Look how good.
I mean, how do you stop this guy? That first 3rd and 10, or like on the first drive that he goes and gets the first down, like he just makes so many nice little subtle moves where I'm like, man, what do you do?
Pump
how do we
fake.
stop this dude? Like,
Wiggle.
Gets an extra 25 yards on the run that he wouldn't normally get.
And his
The
base,
guy's special.
600-pound squat, you can't just arm tackle him. Like this one, whenever he turns sideways at the end here, whoop. Right there, like that takes down most quarterbacks, right? because their base isn't as strong. He just knees right through the fucking thing. I'm off and running. See you later. Not going to bring me down. Like, he's a durable runner. He's a power back who runs fast and also can throw the ball all over the place. Siriani knows it, recognizes it, and I love, like, this team is awesome. I'm a fucking big fan of that Philadelphia Eagles program.
How could you not be? I mean, it's fun to watch their O-line. I love watching Kelce. He's always out front, always like just second level, third level, run into anybody he can find. Like their whole offensive line, they're just a fun team to watch, top to bottom. Their defense as well.
Well, they might be dead. They didn't pick up a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1. So,
hot seat.
Is there a little bit of something going on in Philly? That was 100% against everybody. All of a sudden, against this Packers defense, not able to pick it up. That was early in the game. Obviously, they go on to win the game and be very proficient and pick it up later in the game. But that scares me.
Have you talked to AQ? You talked to AQ. That was crazy when Kelce felt he could tell that Jalen didn't completely grab the ball in the 4th and 1, I believe, and he held onto it as he was still going forward.
So tomorrow will be in the trenches with AQ Shipley. He's obviously a massive fan of Jason Kelce. He's the center, and that Eagles team has been telling us about him since literally the week 1 about this Eagles team. I think, and he'll explain it more, and I assume Jason will explain it on the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce, which is an incredible show. I'm happy they're doing that. It is very good. I think guard jumped. Kelce felt obligated to snap it. Jalen didn't know it was coming yet. Kelce, as he's snapping, goes, oh, shit, Jalen might not know or might not be in there yet, so he hangs on to it. So I think it was Jason Kelce potentially trying to save a false start while also trying to save a fumble. Personally, that's what I think as I was watching
Amazing play. Amazing play. I know they didn't get it, but it's still amazing play.
Him driving forward with his hand attached to his own ass is just unbelievably athletic. That's what they could do that nobody else can do because he's so nimble and athletic. Former running back. He just has the ability to – they're awesome.
He's everywhere.
He is.
Yeah, like when they pull him around, it's almost like, okay, Kelce's going to get one guy. If Sanders or Hurts or whoever he's pulling for is going to make one miss, and it's a 20-yard gain. It felt like they did that 10 times against the Packers.
What happens when we ask Siriani what a dog is, and he said it's Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
Jason Kelce is a dog. Now, he's singing in a Christmas special album the Philadelphia Eagles put together. He's got a great voice.
Yeah.
Great voice.
Good pipes.
Yeah, good bass.
Guy for Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Great voice. We thought he was retiring. Remember?
Yeah.
There was a thought he was retiring. Then he drinks that beer, and he says, no, I'm coming back, actually.
What?
And he helped handpick the next center, right, who they drafted.
Yeah.
He, helped them scout for it and everything. I wonder if how dominant he has been this year changes anything for the future for Jays. I hope we continue to watch him play football for a long time. And this team, I think he's a massive part of it, has to feel like, hey, the next 5 years, this team might be, you know what I mean? And on the complete flip side of that, Packers.
Man.
What's going on with Aaron? Have you talked to him this morning? Did you say, hey, how's the oblique? How's the midsection? Obviously, you knew that his thumb was fractured since week 5 and didn't tell us. What do you know? How do you know it? And what do you think the future looks like for the Packers? All-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, A.J. Hawk.
Yeah, I haven't really pressed my sources too much. I know he's a bit banged up. It all depends on what happens today in his scans, doesn't it? Didn't Ian tell you guys that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it sounds like you were
What
also
could it
told
show
that.
though? What could it show to shut him down? Like, let's say he wants to play through it. What could it show that he has to get shut down?
You tell us what you would say if he asked for your opinion, obviously, which will probably happen, or you'll give yours.
So if you want to play in the game. Play in the next game if you want to play.
What if his spleen's lacerated?
Yeah.
Well, what if his spleen is lacerated? They might have to go in and do some surgery right away. But if they don't have to do that, you think you can go out there and play, do it.
That's what he said last night, why he left and couldn't come back in, because he thought he had a collapsed lung. It turns out he does not have a collapsed lung. But then Ian said if there are multiple fractures potentially, then that would be something where the Packers would be kind of forced to.
Okay, can we talk about this real quick? Let's do some biology.
Here we go.
Rib cage.
Yes.
Then there's that thing that can get sprained, right? Remember this happened to Herbert, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Sprained the thing that is like the inner lining of your rib cage.
Cartilage?
Cartilage, yeah. I think the cartilage in there, you can sprain that, and then there's the lung underneath that. So when the rib fractures, it goes through the cartilage into lung potentially, and that's like why we don't fuck with it. And also, that's why they just tape it and just hope that it grows back at some point. That's the ribs in a nutshell, right?
I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
I think so.
I think because
they tape it. What do you mean they tape it and hope it grows back?
Don't they just tape your shit and they're like, yeah, just This will act as a rib cage for you here, but we just need it to hopefully heal
You have
back
to
in.
wait. It's kind of like the collarbone, right? Like you can't put any. You can only really put a sling on it.
First rib and cartilage.
I
Right.
mean, obviously, they're there to protect your vital organs, but I don't know what it means. Like, what's a fractured rib? Like a cracked rib? What's the difference in all of that?
Yeah, and if it's like rib 10 down there, what can that affect as opposed to rib? Because he got hit high, right? It was a little bit high.
Yeah.
It was like 6 or 5 here, probably 4 maybe.
Right nipple. I see they have the right nipple diagrammed on there for some reason.
Yeah, no
That's
left nipple
perfect
though,
spot.
just in case.
Fell off.
Don't want to judge anybody, feel awkward.
Aaron was rubbing his nipples that one day.
Yeah, when he was warming up. Actually, he was rubbing like he was actually rubbing like rib 6.
Yeah.
Rib 6
A little
down
low
there,
on
if
it,
we were really looking at it. But you're right, there was a little nipple rub. So I wonder what it could be because Aaron, no matter what anybody says about him, tough son of a bitch.
Tough son of a bitch.
Absolutely.
Like old school football player.
Throwback.
He's a hippie. You know, he has his own thoughts. He does his own thing. He's smarter than you are. He's definitely a nerd. Like that is something that happens. But prides himself on being old school, throwback, tough quarterback. That's why he still wears the linen or cotton thing and flips it up. That's why he plays the way he does. He rarely ever misses any games. It's just like he is a durable guy. Has his age caught up to him? Is that why the thumb broke? Is that why potentially, who knows? He is 38. I mean, that's an old body. But I don't think he's just sitting out for no reason. You know, I don't think he's choosing to not play on a Sunday night football game for no reason. So I'd assume the scans are going to say something.
They
right?
were speculating that play was the one that, because that was the sack, the last time he was hit, I believe, before he left the game. He did one more drive after this.
This one
Yeah,
didn't
they checked
look
him out
like-
after this, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
but-
they check him out after this, and then he came out after the next drive?
Do you think it happened earlier and then this maybe did something? Because this, I mean, I don't want
I
to.
thought the same thing.
I don't want to undersell
knows?
anything. I don't know how this would be a rib, especially with the shots we've seen Aaron take. We're just judging strictly.
You get like
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it might have
Yeah, I don't
already
know.
been
Something
like
might have happened.
jostled from earlier, and then that
Fletcher
kind of
Cox
just,
got him earlier in the game, and he kind of
He did.
landed on him a little bit,
Yeah.
so that maybe he could have.
Yeah, I wonder. We're hopefully going to get all these answers tomorrow, which is good. But they were alluding to never watching Aaron Rodgers play football again. I'm like, well, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, what the hell?
Should have enjoyed that a
they're
little bit
writing
more.
him straight off, like we were watching him sail into the sunset or something. I felt like.
And then they're like, should they pull him? Start building for the future with Jordan Love, even if he can play. It's like, damn. Damn.
And besides the picks, no, they are picks, but he was throwing the ball as well last night as he had in a while.
Yeah, the deflection obviously going to be tough. And then Blankenship, there's no way he thought that fucking undrafted rookie.
No chance.
As soon as that undrafted rookie started doing that, Aaron's like, okay, thank you. That guy's out of the play. Goes to the next person. Like, he says he starts at the front, right? He says he reads the line, see what the coverage could be, sees that, sees an undrafted rookie start backpedaling. That guy's gone. Let me check this guy. Boom. I assume that's going to be what he says about it. He'll probably give massive compliments to Blankenship, who played 5 years at Western Kentucky in the same defensive system, allegedly. So his 5 years of college experience, vastly different than in the NFL. But allegedly, he has a lot of experience in said defense, so he kind of knows the intricacies of it a little bit, which was obvious last night on that particular play. Shout out to him for getting an all-time great. But I'll be excited to hear what it all happens with the guy.
Well, and he did tell us a couple weeks ago that like the thumb, like it hurts, but it I can't remember which game it was, but he said it only affected me on maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 throws, whatever it was. And last night, you could tell the first pick he threw, the deflection was kind of wobbly, and he threw it a little bit behind where it ricocheted off Slay's helmet. Like there are a couple of those like that where it's like, oh yeah, you wonder if like the thumb bothered him on that, but then he turns around and some of those touchdown passes he's throwing, he's just throwing seeds. So it's like it's tough.
And the one Aaron Jones too was like
Yeah.
an old school Aaron
Yeah,
scramble a
second and
little
20.
bit.
Yeah, it looked like he had some of his moxie back, too, last night.
Yeah.
Big time.
It was nice. And Bakhtiari was playing the whole game. How about it? That's
They
good.
could have won the game. They
Oh,
could have
yes.
won.
Absolutely. The whole team, it looked like they were just a brand new team there.
But instead, they lose the Eagles. And now this guy's retiring.
Look at
Never
some
going to see him
stops.
play football again. And they should bench him. I'm excited to hear what happens tomorrow, and I'm excited to hear what comes from the scans. Let's talk about some other games around the NFL. This 49ers defense held the Saints shut out. Now, listen, the Saints defense also did their thing against the 49ers offense, which I guess could come into question down the road on can the Niners win Is the offense good enough to win a Super Bowl? You get Christian McCaffrey, so obviously he becomes a weapon. You have, George Kittle catching some balls again. It seems like he's going to be a nice safety blanket, hopefully, for Jimmy G as they go on. But this Niners defense is going to be legendary, huh? Is it going to be one of the defenses that people talk about for a long time, you think, AJ?
I mean, I think you should. I've been on the Fred Warner bandwagon forever. I was pointing him out to my kids yesterday. Like, watch 54, man. The dude is all over the field. Like, he's so good. And that's just one piece of that whole puzzle. Their defense is so good. D'Amico Ryans, it's awesome to see him getting juiced on the sidelines, too, when they're making plays like this. But they're probably going to want to have to score more than 13 points at some point in the playoffs, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and if 83 hangs onto the ball there, that's a touchdown. It's a much different game. It's 13-7. All of a sudden, the vibes are different. But it seems like the great defenses always figure out when they need to say when, and the ball always seems to bounce their way. That always seems to be something that happens with the great teams. The most prepared teams always seem to be the luckiest as well for whatever reason. The Niners get a win against the Saints. Offense doesn't look great. You like the Niners long-term still?
Yes, I absolutely like the Niners and like what they have done previously in the playoffs too. Like, I think Jimmy G and that team kind of knows how to win when it matters.
Okay, so the Vikings are back.
Oh yeah,
right. They beat let's just talk about the NFC. Rams. Come on, man.
Terrible.
Absolutely stink.
Come on, man. Sean McVay. That shot he took.
Oh my goodness! Right on the chin. Are you kidding me? Like, is he the toughest guy ever?
All time. I don't know how he
right in the chin. That's a straight knockout cold shot he took.
Yeah, he got hit in the button by a shoulder pad by an NFL guy running with also a microphone there to add to the force. Like he got hit with a punch with the shoulder pad force behind it. The guy didn't even stop after just deboing your head coach. Let's get him the fuck out of the building. I mean, unless he just hates McVay, which we need to maybe look into a little bit more. I'm sure he wouldn't not know that happened. And maybe he was trying to get as far away from it as possible. But whenever he didn't stop, I thought to myself, whoa, are the Rams...
What the hell's going on?
What's going on with the Rams?
They're dead.
That's a head coach who just got blown up and nobody even stopped to see if he was okay, aside from a couple coaches. The guy that hit him just keeps on fucking jogging on the field, not even oh my God.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Not even one of those. Like,
he couldn't have known. He couldn't have known it was a head coach.
Really?
Watch. He's scrambling like,
even if you don't know.
Dude,
just a customary apology.
Back. He did a little peek-see, but
obviously, he's late to get on the field for something.
Yeah, special teams play probably, if we had to guess, seems like that would be a scramble.
Shot right in the chin.
Boom! His face.
Whiplash, broken neck, everything.
Bro, his face moved like that guy who got kicked in the mouth at UFC. If they had this thing in slow-mo with like an 8K camera, I bet his face is compressed from that shot.
Yeah.
Boom!
Crushed.
Puts the headset back on.
Yeah.
Moves forward. Doesn't get knocked off his feet at all. This would be called to the unconnected the UNI.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the doctor.
The what is it? Unaffiliated.
Yeah, unaffiliated.
Neurological
consultant.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, the person that took care of Tua.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yes.
That's how we learned the name of the person. Whenever that person fucked up and got fired, that's how we learned what the official. Because we always just assumed there was an independent neurologist. It's called an unaffiliated blah 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 blah. If that happens on the field, they're pulling Sean into the blue tent. Hey, are you sure you're okay? I mean, you didn't fall, you didn't drop the ball, you just got hit right on the button. Though we're talking about it. Sean McVay eats it, spits it out, puts a headset back on. Thought his commentating career was in jeopardy.
Sure.
He's allegedly been offered $15 to $20 million to go into the booth, which I think we're going to see a lot sooner than later with how this whole Rams thing is going. And I thought maybe that was going to bounces back, calls the rest of the game. Now they lose. They are not good. But he's a tough son of a bitch. I think we all need to start recognizing that a little bit more about McVay.
Can you imagine how fucking sore he is today?
Neck. Hey, neck.
His head is probably so swollen. Like he's eating out of a straw for the next week.
Jeez.
They stink.
Why? I like Perkins. I thought he made some plays. I had no idea what to expect from Perkins at all at quarterback. Saw Cam Akers get a little loose every once in a while. But aside from that, I don't know what's going on. Why do they suck so bad? Dude, they're 3-8.
And it's like the whole division, right? The whole division, aside from the Niners, is kind of underperforming. I guess the Seahawks are much better than we thought, but the Cardinals and the Rams both stink, whereas, last year they both went to the playoffs, and I think going into this year, at least we thought that one of those two were going to be in it.
Now, I think if this season had gone differently for the Rams, we'd understand a loss to the Chiefs because they look fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
But just adding a Chiefs loss into the resume alongside everything else that's going on over there, are they going to
No first rounders.
Is Stafford going to come back this year? Is he going to come back ever? Do we know anything?
Different reports.
So if Stafford conflicting, I didn't know that. Is that really?
There was I saw a report early that said Stafford was likely to be shut down, and then I think Ian reported that he was. That seems like he's all right.
Why would he?
We missed that.
Well, just like
Forgot
Rodgers.
about
We're
it.
literally just talking to him.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't matter. They're fucking 3-8.
Yeah, that's why we just assume why would he? He's already had 2 concussions this year. Like what?
And then
Cooper Kupp's out.
What?
Just like everybody was saying on TV last night, is that the last time
I think he's done.
we see Aaron Rodgers play football again? Are we too big of a program at this stage to say, are we never seeing Matthew Stafford in an NFL uniform ever again? Is this how this whole thing ends? Is it not a forced decision, but pretty much a forced decision? The universe, 2 concussions, 1 season, team falling apart. You won a Super Bowl. You're rich. You're a Hall of Famer. Your legacy has been cemented after all the hard years you did in Detroit. Obviously, his wife, who has battled her own incredibly big monsters of brain cancer, I believe, in Day of a Family. She's come out and said she doesn't love, obviously seeing her husband get knocked the fuck out at the stage that he is out. And the amount of money, he had $50 million guaranteed before he even took a snap in the NFL. He was number 1 overall in 2009, old CBA. I mean, he's financially set forever. Hall of Fame career already because the Super Bowl cements that for him. And if he leaves, what does that mean for Sean McVay, who said, Aaron Donald already retired?
Yep.
What does that mean for everybody? What does that mean for the Rams? I mean, that's a real conversation that is allowed to be had.
How does it work? So in March, he signed I believe 4-year, $130 million guaranteed extension.
McVay?
No,
Stafford.
He's under contract till 2026.
I think 2 of those are void years, though, right? It was basically just like this next year, and then
Can the quarterback renegotiate the contract to change the cap hit?
Didn't Drew Brees do that?
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying before they retire, I like to take 0 years more, like to change the cap hit in the future.
How does that work? Yeah.
Roster
you do
bonus?
it, and just because you're retiring, is that legal somehow?
I don't know. That would be you'd be doing the team quite a favor.
You still get hit with dead cap. Because remember, Ben took a pay cut, and it still forced dead cap on the Steelers, but it was less of a cap hit than his $40 million.
So let's say, and I'm not saying anybody should do this. I think it's bad business. Get your money however you want to get it. I'm just saying hypotheticals here. Let's say Matthew Stafford right now goes in and renegotiates his contract. 0 years left, 0 money guaranteed, nothing at all. How's that affect the salary cap next year? Because that's a new contract that has been signed. They tear up the last one, new contract. I'm not saying he's going to do this, but if he was to, what would happen?
I don't know, but I can tell you. So he had $63 million guaranteed at signing. Another $57 becomes guaranteed March of 2023. So I think he's probably going to want to stick it out till at least March to get $57 million.
Ian Rapoport has an update that says he is in the protocol, but not for a concussion. For a stinger, has something in his... Zito just told me 4 sentences.
Oh.
Zito, just read that one. Just go ahead and do an open mic on that one.
He was in the protocol, but not diagnosed with a concussion. Numbness in his legs from a stinger. It has gone away, but should play when he's cleared.
Zito was telling me that in my ear while you guys were talking. I mean, I don't...
Wait, is that
is
McVay
Stafford.
or is that Stafford?
Stafford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Matthew Stafford.
thought
So
it
his
was
second one wasn't a concussion. The first one was a concussion. Second one was stinger
precautionary. They treated it
Because-
like a concussion.
because he already had a
Does
concussion.
he have a history
Right.
of this? Does Foxy know? Does he have a history in Detroit? Did he have many?
He broke every single bone in his body. He had
Right.
a million concussions.
Right.
You name it, he had it in Detroit. So that's why I wouldn't blame him one bit if he retired. But also, hey, the Lions are pretty good now. We could just trade him over here and then next year win a Super Bowl.
People are thinking about Tom Brady going back to New England, right?
Oh, yeah, a lot of rumblings about that. People are also hoping for it, but we'll see.
How about you?
Because, he did get a divorce potentially from the person that would not want to be in Boston anymore, right? That's what all reports were.
Man, that would be awesome for the NFL.
That would be awesome
wild.
for the New England Patriots fans as well. Tom coming back. And then what if they have
Better play
success
well.
again?
Win another Super Bowl.
Josh McDaniels, obviously, Raiders get another big-time win.
Hell yeah.
You know, the Raiders
That was a
just –
fun game. Fun game to watch, though, man.
I agree. And Devontae's hilarious. Devontae Adams is hilarious. He is comically good at football. Every part of it, he seems like he's the best at. Get-offs, route running, hands, body control, everything.
Stutter, like his little stutter high steps he's doing all the time, like getting out of tackles. He's so good.
His football IQ seems to be very high as well. I mean, he's just a fucking guy. And obviously the Packers are missing him, and the Raiders are loving having him. And they get a big-time win over the Seahawks, who have to be ecstatic with how world in life is post-Russell Wilson, especially with another draft pick. But, yeah, like this type of catch, obviously pass interference, they don't call it.
No.
Don't need to. I'm going to catch this thing, do my thing. He's a hell of a football player, and I think we got cut off on a replay again, which is 2 weeks straight. We should probably hit up NFL Films and tell them that has been happening.
That one's on our side.
Okay, sweet. Never mind. NFL Films have been fantastic. They have been. It's been a great relationship, very open conversation. They actually say, please communicate with us anything you need, and we will get it fixed. They have been great at that. But the Raiders, there was conversation about Josh McDaniels not being the coach there anymore.
Yeah.
They get a win. Allegedly, they don't have enough money for him to be fired from the Raiders. Allegedly. I mean, I'm just telling you what's being reported on the internet. This is not me making this up. Raiders fans came after me for saying that last week. Like, I didn't make this up. Okay, like this is just what
I'm
is.
sure they have the money, but do you want to use it for that to continue to pay coaches too?
I mean, who knows if they have a brand new stadium? I mean, who knows where the money's at? Okay, there's a lot of guaranteed money being upheld too in escrow. You know, if you think about Devontae and Chandler and everybody that they've paid
Crosby,
over there. And
Waller.
Carr, I think, just got another year.
Renfro.
So they got a lot of money in escrow and guarantees. They went all in here in Vegas, which we can appreciate. So who knows about the money situation? But could you imagine if McDaniels, Tom, and Bill Belichick all were back in New England? Just another trip around, take the tractor another round. Last episode of Tom Brady's Super Dance or whatever the fuck that documentary was called. That would be bananas.
Or what if Tom goes to Vegas with Josh?
Oh.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Oh, my God. And Dana said, right?
Devontae and all those.
Dana White said that he had a deal done, but the head coach basically was the one that said, no, we ain't doing that.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Is 46
Tom Brady's going to the Las Vegas Raiders next year? He ain't going back to New England. What are you talking about?
I mean, you guys
He's
are
single, too? You think
Could also go back home to San Fran.
Vegas.
You guys
He's got
are
options.
crazy.
Jimmy G.
Is
Let's not
he
say
better
Encore.
than Jimmy, Mack, or Derek Carr at this point?
What's that, pal?
Is Tom Brady better than any of those guys at the teams that we just mentioned?
Well, he lost to the Browns yesterday, certainly.
I mean,
Brady
certainly.
Devontae would be sick.
if you think Brady's going to Patrick Mahomes' division or Josh Allen's division, you are insane. He can go to Drew Brees' division because he knew he had a noodle arm, but he ain't going to either of those divisions. Okay,
Tom, they are leading the NFC South.
They are.
Yeah, I believe they're still in the lead of the NFC South with a losing record after losing to the Browns. They seem like a vastly different team this year.
Yeah.
And
They should have won this game. They should have beat the Browns.
I concur. Amari Cooper on that 4th and 12, that drop.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, Amari Cooper's about to get cooked. He's about to get killed by Cleveland for this, even though he is an incredible weapon. No big deal. He comes back, scores a touchdown, does the thing. Cleveland Browns win. It's like Jacoby Brissett comes out and says, this is fucking awesome. He's no longer their quarterback, I guess. Beats the Bucks. Yeah. And he's no longer their quarterback because now Deshaun Watson's back. Wild for the Bucks to lose that game, honestly. Very wild. And I think it's an indicator of what's going on down there in Tampa. They win one Super Bowl and everybody starts feeling themselves. They haven't been able to handle it. Go to Los Angeles. They win one Super Bowl. Everybody starts feeling themselves, not able to handle it. What is the deal, AJ? What is the deal?
I think we've talked about it over and over, like how impressive the run the Patriots had with Belichick and Tom Brady. Like sustained, consistent success is so hard in the NFL. We're seeing it this year, especially following up back to back. It's really difficult.
The Chiefs, in the moment, we weren't able to say, they're a dynasty because they win one, they get back to the AFC Championship, but they haven't won again. So in the moment, now when 15 years from now, if they win 4 out of the next 7, 4 out of the last 7 or something like that, which could still happen, we'll talk about, there's the next dynasty after the Patriots. So we're in the middle of it. It's hard for us necessarily to deem it to them because they haven't won the last 2. So it's like, they're dead. They seem to be, hey,
Good.
They're on track.
Machine.
They seem to reload. They reload well. Like you lose Tyreek Hill. Like they just seem to continue to plug people in and continue to make plays. Obviously, Kelce and Mahomes are the heart of all of that.
And everybody's talked about the AFC being deeper than the NFC, and I think it's because Patrick Mahomes is in this particular division. Patrick Mahomes is going to be a tough out. Travis Kelce is the best football player on the field whenever he's on the field, no matter what field he has played football on. Andy Reid seemingly has it all figured out. Pacheco's a guy. Juju Smith-Schuster got knocked out a week ago. He's back making plays for him. Is this a new Juju?
Yeah.
Huh? This is if he's a good, hey, as a number 2 guy, he was the best in the league. He was the best in the league, number 2 guy in Pittsburgh. Yeah. When Antonio Brown was there and Juju was the number 2 guy, so he's not necessarily taking the double team or the entire defense structuring to eliminate him from the game, which they certainly were able to do so when he was at Pittsburgh. But they're trying to do that to fucking Travis Kelce, let alone all the other weapons they have. So Juju's able to just have standard matchups. Like, let me just get a one-on-one here with a linebacker or a nickel. And Juju is tough enough, fast enough, and creative enough, I think, with the way he runs his routes to be a weapon for the Chiefs long term. I love that squad. But in the AFC, you have the Bills. Bills are a wagon. You have the Dolphins, AJ. You have the fucking Did you see what they did to the Texans, who might be the worst team the NFL has produced in some time, that Texans football team?
Yeah. Did you think they were going to put Tua back in?
Yeah, it was getting a little dicey there. I actually, as I was watching the updates from it, I was like, oh, here's the first thing that McDaniel's fucked up. Like that, I was actually thinking, like, here we go. McDaniel has fucked up. This guy isn't just the perfect head coach, seemingly the perfect head coach, smarter than everybody else, knows the game and the run game better than everybody else, has a deep connection with his team, and he looks so cool all the time.
All the time.
Makes a fuck up, subbing out Tua, getting a little bit too comfortable, resting on his yawnies. This is the NFL, McDaniel. You can't do that against anybody. You can't do that against the Texans. You can't do that against the Lions. No. You can't do that. This is the big boys league. And then they handle it, and then all of a sudden he's cool.
Still cover.
No big deal. Still, but no problem at all. But that was kind of a developing storyline. Was this the first time McDaniel fucked up? I was surprised. Weren't you, AJ? I was kind of surprised. I was thinking to myself, did McDaniel mess up here? And why not keep Tua in there just to pad?
Yeah, exactly.
Just to pad what they could do.
Because he knows, like, it's not worth Tua taking another shot and having to deal with life without Tua moving forward.
Tua had that kind of scary hit, too, where it looked like he had no bones in his body and kind of just, like, bent over. So I bet
his feet got caught underneath him.
Yeah.
Dude, then he took the kill within 4 seconds. That was so tough. Like, he could have acted like, oh, shit, I should be hurt. Like, mentally, when you go through something like that, where your body is accordioned back on top of itself, even if your body doesn't hurt, mentally you go like, something has to have happened. He gets up immediately, spikes the ball, gets off the field. I'm like, damn, this dude is seemingly mentally the toughest guy of all time to be able to withstand what he's doing. And physically, he just got bent in half, and still had the wherewithal, like, spike it, got to kill it, let's move on. Dog, man, they are a great team. And all you need is one helmet, right? I guess that's all you need. Go back, one helmet, and then...
And season's completely different season then.
I guess that's right. But I would have liked to see... They could have hung 70.
Oh, yeah.
They could have They could have put up 80-some points they wanted to. Minus 50 was on track to be the proper line for the Miami Dolphins. And how about
What's Houston doing? What are they going to do?
Josh McCown. It's time. It's time to bring his ass in. They've been waiting.
Is he coaching anywhere?
They got worse, dude. They got worse.
I know.
Much worse.
Lovey came into our office, had that incredible shot, had a great beard. I enjoyed chatting with him. They keep pep. They keep a lot of their staff. They've gotten worse.
Only one difference.
Casario's not on the headset anymore?
Nope. Fucking Coach Dave. Coach Dave would have had them boys humming.
Chewing on his tongue.
Coach Dave Cawley is who you're referring to.
Yeah.
Just remember that human existed.
Yeah.
For a year in our
What
lives.
a run he had in the middle of a fire.
They basically made him retire. They fired him and said, hey, and you also can't coach anywhere else. You have to retire.
Where is he?
Coach Dave probably scheming up something somewhere, watching the Texans lose by 1,000 going, I knew it.
Just cackling.
I knew it. And congrats, Coach Dave. I thought you were obviously mentioning.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
You know.
Red fish, blue fish.
Yes.
One fish, two fish.
Yeah.
Coach, counsel, preacher, owner, Jack Easterby. He's not around anymore either. They ain't doing well. Did Jesus leave the building? We shall see.
It doesn't happen, obviously, because guys who are coaching aren't going to do it. But, like, who would want the Texans' job? I mean, like, a lot of people will, obviously, and they're probably going to have the number one pick.
Fucking give it to Andre Johnson.
Sweet.
Why not? It's the anniversary of him fighting Cortland Finnegan, by the way. So happy anniversary, boys.
Happy anniversary, guys.
That was fourth quarter. That was fourth quarter of a game. I forgot that was so late in the game. Houston was up, and Cortland takes quite a massive jam to Andre's face, which we would assume has been happening throughout the game. Cortland Finnegan and I know each other. He blocked a punt and then danced on my face. And we have had conversations. I'm a big fan of the way Cortland Finnegan handled himself on the football field. He was a character. Did not get enough credit for being the character that he was. Tough dude. Talked a lot of shit. Was a tone setter for the Tennessee Titans. Now, on the other side, very quiet man. Talks no shit. Tone setter for the Houston Texans. Whenever he's boom, boom, one over top, one uppercut. And Andre, I've gotten a chance to meet him. He was on the Colts team for a while. Massive fucking guy. This is not a guy you want throwing haymakers at your head. And also a guy that none of us could have expected. They're up 17-zip there. Cortland Finnegan's getting into a fight. Happy anniversary, boys, honestly.
Way to do it, boys.
But Andre cared about the Texans. I think he was like one of the first draft picks of the Houston Texans. I'm sure getting him around would be good. I think he's on the coaching staff. I don't know who else would be able to do anything with that team, though. They are a dumpster fire.
J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt in a few years.
That'd be awesome. I mean, they do have the 2 top 10 picks, right? So that's kind of an attractive job because maybe you can start over, get a new quarterback.
But how many times has that happened in, like, the last, 5 to 7 years?
Laramie Tunsil's down there. He's a player. They need to start throwing him the ball more. 2-point conversion, they tried to get it to him. He wasn't able to pull it in. It was on his left hand. Let's put that ball on him. Let's get Laramie out in space a little bit more. I know he can run a long way.
That's right. Great lungs.
Laramie, he could do a marathon and Ironman right now if he had to.
Good condition.
He took a steamroller gas mask to the face, did not cough. Did not cough. I don't care what your thoughts are on steamrollers or gas masks being used in smoking. I think it might have been a bong, actually, gas mask. I think he had a bong gas mask, not even a steamroller. Steamroller has an end, that you can open and let actual air in. Bong closed end. So literally only vitamin smoke coming into a gas mask that is strapped around your head. So you're all the way. Yeah, it was a bong. It was a bong gas mask.
A big one at that.
Even more impressive, this whole thing. Did not cough, okay? Soon as I seen that, I tell Chuck Pagano, get that guy on our team. I have been around a lot of gas mask smoking in my life. I've never seen one person who has the lungs good enough. I've been around some elite athletes that have been taken to their knees, coughing from gas masks. Laramie Tunsil, that was crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy what you just accomplished, sir. His lungs are fantastic. Since that night, I became the biggest Laramie Tunsil fan. Not only because of how good he is on the field, but because of how in shape that man has to be. The commitment to work that he has to have, cardio, everything is so big. Get him on another team maybe, or build around him.
Yeah.
Make him your tight end. Make Laramie Tunsil the guy maybe taking snaps. Put him at quarterback. We need more Tunsil, less whatever the fuck else they got going on there in Houston, and I'll stand by that forever.
It's too bad for Lovey, but, it just, I don't know. Like, you watch them play.
Stink.
They are so fucking bad.
Really bad.
And we talk about some of these other teams who stink, and then you watch the Texans. Like, that is not hyperbole. The Dolphins could have if they would have kept their starters in the whole game, the Dolphins could have beat them maybe 100-0.
Texans might beat the Colts again this season. So
Maybe.
I understand everything we are saying. Could come back. Colts lost in Clinton last year.
And the Packers stink, so it's not like...
We're not judging. We're just saying significantly worse. Whenever we're talking about gambling, last year you could bet on the Texans because they were going to cover against somebody out of nowhere. It was like everybody thinks the Texans stink. FanDuel thought Texans stink. So they were giving us good lines on the Texans. It was like Dougie Mills and his team were actually going to get in this, and they were covering. They were like a good bet there for a bit. They were a good add to a parlay for a bit. This year, stank. Stank. Stunk. Happy holidays.
Yeah. It's like
You never even talk about them, right? Like, are they ever talked about, like, on the national stage? Which I understand when you're at a certain
Just
point
like
in the
this,
season when people, your record's pretty terrible, you don't even really hear from them. It's weird. It really is.
Yeah, it is weird. Let's talk about some of the other games before we get to hour 3 here. We talked about the Raiders beating the Seahawks. Did we talk enough about the Jags beating the Ravens? Hey.
Man. Old buddy post game too, pumping up his quarterback.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you're talking about Weingart?
Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
So he picked off Phil Rivers' first game of the year 2 years ago.
Minshew.
2 years ago to end the game. And I had no idea this guy existed. And at that point, I thought the Colts were going to be very good. It was first game of the season. I go, Joe Dirt just picked off Phil. This guy picks off a lot of people. Guy's a great player. Still on the team. Still a dog. Made a play to actually win the game there at the end of the Ravens-Jags. He was interviewed about the whole situation. In the way he talked about Trevor Lawrence under Urban Meyer in football as a whole was pretty damning on what last season looked like in Jacksonville. You bring in Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence, I guess, is getting his first real chance to be an NFL quarterback under this potential leadership. Seemingly has figured it out. I think if I was listening to the commentators properly, they were saying almost that Trevor, the game has kind of slowed down for him. Remember, he's supposed to be the next Luck. He was supposed to be the next Manning. Trevor Lawrence was being held in this high regard ever since high school. Hey, this guy's the next guy. Goes to Jacksonville. It's a shit show. Now they get a big win over the Ravens. He makes some massive throws. Darts down the sideline, 2-point conversions that they need. This one's put in a spot. How you doing? Touchdown. That's a window on the run. Perfectly. Got to have it. 2-point conversion puts one in a bucket. Is this guy for real? And is Doug Peterson a coach that, got ran out of town in Philadelphia? Is he a guy that's going to do it again in Jacksonville? Is he going to build? Because remember, Philadelphia hadn't been in the Super Bowl in 50 years until Doug Peterson and them went there and won it. Is Doug going to do the same in Jacksonville? Is that what we're talking about? Or are they going to stink forever no matter what happens?
I mean, I don't know what their ceiling may be, but I feel like Doug Peterson's been huge for Trevor Lawrence and his development. It seems like they have, whatever their little vibe and the culture they have, it seems to be somewhat good. Yeah, I understand they were 3-7 going into yesterday, but you beat a good Baltimore team. Like, you really did. And you listened to, is it Wingard? Is that right?
Wingard? Yeah.
Safety
whatever
guy.
it is, like you listen to him talk about Doug Peterson too, and doesn't give you more confidence in Doug Peterson. What they're like, he says, "Well, I'm ready to, I'll die for Doug Peterson. I'll run through a brick wall right now for that guy.
I'll go to war for Doug Peterson," he said. And I think early in the season there was a Jacksonville game that happened to be on a TV that had sound for me, so I don't know if they had a primetime game or something like that. But Doug Peterson talked about having, I have to regain the trust of the players. Like, players didn't really trust coaches much around. It had to regain the trust in the building. So I think he's been doing a lot of I don't want to say chemistry building, but almost it feels like they're doing trust falls and shit down there. Like, hey, I have your best interest at heart. I don't know what happened before I got here, but we got it all figured out. That other guy, they're calling for him to go back to Ohio State. Some people
interesting.
In Ohio State, which he had a lot of success in college. Not going to say he didn't, but in the NFL, as the days go on and the more we hear, sounded like it was worse than we could have imagined. But the Baltimore Ravens lose to the Jags. Ravens fans lose their mind. And then Lamar Jackson now, he puts out a tweet to somebody. That's everywhere, okay? That's everywhere, going everywhere, talking about how bad of a person Lamar Jackson is. Feels like this is going to be used against Lamar in his contract negotiation. It sounds like that's what people are trying to do there. What are your thoughts on Baltimore? And what do you think the future looks like with Lamar Jackson there with everything that's going on? That loss to the Jags is not like good times in Baltimore, I don't think, for anybody. AJ.
No, not good at all. And Lamar can't feel good about it. You've seen Lamar kind of lash out a little bit now, so he's obviously very frustrated and losing, which is completely understandable. But I wonder how much I just don't know what the front office is doing, what they're thinking, and where you go. Like, okay, let's say the season ends. How do they when they have their exit meetings? What do they say? What do his agents say to the team? Like, how do they go into the offseason?
Von Miller, who's won 2 Super Bowls with 2 different franchises, said that our team in the Bills, he said what he noticed is everybody's doing everything right, which is good news. He said because you need karma, you need luck, so you need people doing the things right off the field and on the field if you want to win a Super Bowl. That is what he said he has seen from winning 2 Super Bowls with 2 different programs and being on a lot of good teams that maybe hadn't won and then teams that did win. He said it seemingly is karma, the universe. You do good, everybody's doing good, living right, doing their things. Luck seems to come your way, and you're going to need that to win a Super Bowl. Them not paying Lamar at the beginning of the season, I honestly believe just sets the tone for the whole thing. Is Lamar going to make business decisions on the field? Probably not, because everybody says he's a great teammate and he's a great leader and he's great. But how could he not? Why wouldn't he? With that much money potentially on the line. Why not get the deal. I just don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you wouldn't have done it. And now we just have to question it the entire time. What will the offseason look like? There's 2 franchise tags that the Baltimore Ravens can have for him for 2 more years. Is that going to be a good relationship? It's like so much high hopes, I think, for this Ravens team. And then you lose to the Jags, and all we have to talk about is all the bullshit that surrounds your organization when it isn't like that. I think the Ravens are a pretty fucking good operation.
Yeah.
I think their team's a pretty good team. But whenever they lose to a team like the Jags and they don't do business in the way that you would think the whole world would like them to do, like, hey, this is good business. This is just what's going on. You guys are making a lot of money. Fucking pay your guy. And now we have to talk about it. Like this is what has to happen. It's going to be for 2 more years. I think this is potentially going to be
That's why it's hard with them. Don't you think it's hard with the Ravens? Because win or lose, the Lamar contract situation, that question is still going to be brought up post-game. I feel like you're still going to be talking about it, whether he goes out there and lights it up and kills it, or they lose. You're like, all right, why didn't you pay him? When are you going to pay him? How do you do this?
What are your thoughts, Connor?
Well, and we talked about this theory when it happened, but like the Browns doing the Deshaun Watson deal as, $230 million guaranteed has kind of, maybe changed the thought process of Lamar and both Joe Burrow. Like it's the AFC North now as a whole that, everyone has to pay their quarterback. And if they don't, then, maybe they're screwed and the Browns, made a chess move and won.
Hope the Ravens figure it out. Congratulations.
Good luck.
The Browns paying Deshaun Watson 250 M's, making every other quarterback expect that, and knowing in your division you're the only team that can do that. That's
well. Then there's the lawsuit about it, right?
What's that?
That no other team has paid their quarterback fully guaranteed money. So there's some from the NFLPA, maybe.
Yeah, the NFLPA has said that they have been what's that called? Conspiring against players getting fully guaranteed contracts, and it'll be an investigation by who?
Okay. Yeah. Come on.
This always happens. I appreciate the NFLPA doing this so that it could get brought to light. Hey, they are not giving full-time or fully guaranteed contracts on purpose. They're colluding. There it is. They are colluding with each other to not do this, to reset the market. It is affecting players. It's going to end with a big nothing. Right? It's going to end with a big nothing unless we see some emails where they directly say to each other, hey, no more of that.
Yeah.
That can't happen. But I'm assuming they would never do that. They would do it in the one per club meetings, which happen
never sees the light of
twice
day.
a year, and nobody ever hears anything from. So, but I do appreciate that the NFLPA is bringing it to light, saying to everybody, hey, it's kind of fucked up, isn't it?
We're going bad for you guys.
It's kind of like they're trying to tell the world, kind of seems like this is what's going on. We're doing that. But the Browns doing that could potentially be a very smart play, because the Browns, the family that runs the Bengals, they just started to have to get into business. They have a sponsored bubble now, an indoor facility. Who would have thought?
Yep.
They sold sponsorship rights to the stadium. I believe they're even selling tickets to people now.
What?
Yeah, like selling in merch. I think there's merch. I think they have that. Do they have concession stands open during games there?
I'm pretty sure, yes, that they have concessions.
Okay, so they're getting into business because of what the paycheck's going to have to be for Joe Burrow, which is good news. But if that is what happened, it's good. Let's talk about Joe Burrow and the Bengals real quick. Karras, Indianapolis dude, okay? Running off the field, saying, fucking right, Tennessee, up yours, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then fuck you to Tennessee. I love it. I assume he's going to get fined for this. I assume there's going to be a video that is sent to every NFL team about what he did and how this can't be what the NFL represents. And the NFL is going to do that to cover their own ass, because there's going to be people that are offended by that, even though they are at a competitive sport where guys are running their faces into each other to try to hit. They'll be offended by words that other people have deemed unnecessary for kids. This dude is my favorite player in the NFL right now. This guy, go ahead and run this. He's a Super Bowl champ, I think, with the Patriots. What is Karras?
Ted Karras, yep.
K-A-R. I guess his dad played in the league. Grandpa played in the league. This is like a NFL lineage from Indianapolis. I think doing a lot of great things for Indianapolis. Now, obviously, the center for the Cincinnati Bengals. At the end of the game, while they were trying to kneel it out, allegedly the Titans D-line was doing a Siriani move and diving at their legs. So this might be in the middle of some emotional energy going on after feeling as if there was a dirty play happening. This is how Karras exited the field after getting a massive win over the Tennessee Titans yesterday. That's out of a movie, dude.
Yeah.
And then look, fuck yeah. He
Yeah.
even gives like a fist bump to the Cincinnati Bengals fan. He's like, yeah, I don't want to do that, but good person right there. Right up yours, Tennessee. Fuck you. He's saying it. That's out of a movie.
That's awesome.
I love how emotionally invested he was. I like how passionate he is. And I like that there is a little rivalry brewing between two teams in the AFC who are going to run into each other again in the playoffs because they're both fucking very good. I love this from Karras. And obviously this can't become a habit in the NFL's eyes. I wouldn't mind. But the NFL is probably not going to want this every single week. I love when this type of stuff happens, AJ.
It's amazing. I hope it becomes a habit. And like a player gets so juiced up, they do this walking off the field. But earlier in the game, I'm not sure exactly when it was. Karras, he had his arm on one of the D linemen in between plays. He had his arm up like the whistle was blown. D lineman smacked his arm down like they get pissed. And Karras popped his arm right back up on the dude. And he like slapped it down again. And then Karras waited a second, was talking, and boom, kept putting his arm back on him. And you know how pissed guys get. Like D lineman especially, you could see him talk. Yeah, he kept knocking his arm down. And Karras just kept coming at him. And I knew right then, I was like, I love these guys. And then it was awesome that Karras was the guy post-game doing this too.
So Karras is a menace.
Yeah. Which center needs to be. Your center should be. If your center is that guy, your offense can go a long way.
I don't know about center. It doesn't have to be the center. Could be anybody. As long as you have at least one on the offensive line, I think it's good for team building. Sounds like Karras is that. Comes from a family of NFLers. The Bengals are fucking good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this Trenton Irwin guy from Stanford.
Yeah.
This dude, the last time they played the Titans in the playoffs, there's a picture of him on the sideline looking at a Microsoft tablet for somebody watching film. Now he's just a weapon for him because you lose Jamar Chase. What are we going to do offensively? They figured it out. Joe Burrow says, I am who I thought I was. Thank you. Moves on. This Cincinnati team's awesome, AJ. Are they back in the running again? Is it not a one-hit wonder last year? Are the Bengals going to be able to go on a run? And shout out to Karras for getting that offensive line that we all thought was a massive problem, which it was, seemingly figured out over there.
I hope. I mean, I feel like the Bengals definitely can go on a run. I don't know if they can recreate the magic they had last year in the postseason, but I mean they're rounding into form at the right time, as people like to say. I feel like
up yours, Tennessee.
I think
that's from 1944.
So awesome.
Up yours, right up yours, Tennessee.
Now, if Jamar comes back healthy, okay, here's the stipulation. I think this has been good for them strictly because the relationship between Joe Burrow and T. Higgins was good before, but now that Jamar's been out and T. Higgins is going,
I
was just gonna say no mixing too.
But now that the chemistry with all of the guys is going to be insane. Like he could go wherever he wants. Tyler Boyd in the slot, they have weapons galore.
Hayden Hurst has been so good for them.
And good juice too.
Yeah,
he's always juiced up. And AQ put a video out on his Twitter last night of Hayden Hurst coming in motion like we've been seeing with the Wham, I believe. Tight end off, coming back across, and he blew up Bud Dupree. Blew up Bud Dupree. And I assume it's going to be on the big bumps or whatever. AQ was so excited. He's doing his whole, I was excited to see it. It seems like they're flying around. Good for them. Good for the Bengals.
Yeah, shout out.
Hey, good for the Bengals. And I still like the Titans.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Still got Vrabel as a coach. Vrabel appreciated what Karras said. I assume Vrabel saw what Karras did and was like, we need a couple of A's. We need a couple of A's.
Vrabel knows they're in the worst division in football, so he's got nothing to worry about.
It's the NFC South.
Hey, do you think that was a penalty? Do you think that was a penalty when they hit the center? Did you see it?
You're talking about
the Titans. They were going to kick Bengals kicking a field goal at the end, and
that won the game.
Can't touch the center. I know that. Then they kneeled it out. That's why they're all pissed.
So the rule used to be there used to be no rules. Used to be no rules. It used to be D tackle next to D tackle with linebacker hand on both ass cheeks of both D tackles, right over shoulder, kicking leg shoulder of snapper, or inside interior. If it was in the middle, kicking leg. If it was in the middle, if it was on a hash, whichever side the upright was on. If it was on right hash, obviously on the left shoulder. If it was on the left hash, on the right shoulder. And it used to be as soon as that ball was snapped, we're talking push play, 600 pounds being pushed on top of snapper's shoulders, blowing them back. Guys' necks started getting stunted and everything that. So they made a rule you weren't allowed to hit the snapper until his head came up. It seems like his head remained down for a long time, and I don't know if the rule is still that it has to be until your head comes up or if you're not allowed to touch him at all. Going to be difficult to not touch a snapper at all with how much is happening, but it seems like, and in slow motion, obviously, it's a little bit more dramatized, but he keeps his head down for a pretty long, extended amount of time because the motion is snap and then head up, right? This is what you're doing. And you
can't line up over top of them, though. Like, you got to be like, they're usually come down and they move you out.
Yeah, well, the linebacker's supposed to, or the ref tells the linebacker to move the person. So to win a game like that is crazy. I know why it is. It's first long snapper safety with their heads down, and that's a tough way to lose a game. Vrabel.
Oh, man.
Vrabel's face afterwards, just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. This is how we lose a game. I mean, that is –
It's usually how they win games. They usually win games that way when the other team does stuff like that.
Yeah, they're a smart coach football team. I'm excited to see how they bounce back. All right, let's take a break, and then we'll finish up hour 3 on the other side. We got overreactions from all around Twitter. We'll do a giveaway or two. We can't thank you enough for spending your afternoons with us. Be a friend, tell a friend. Take 5. 5! And gentlemen, a man with the dog mentality, Paisano, Coach Siriani. Yes. You're fucking awesome, dude. Did you ever feel any pressure that you were going to have to change and adapt to being a head coach and speaking in the same bullshit ways that every other head coach talks in?
Some of the best advice I got was be yourself, because if you're not yourself, everyone's going to see through it.
The messaging is the same. You're just doing it in your own way, and I think that's the most important part. And being authentic, you're 100% right. As you were saying, if I wasn't me, everybody who would tell the fucking locker room immediately going to be like, well, this guy, he's a stooge. There's another coach that wants to talk to you. Coach Siriani, your question for Coach Siriani.
I feel like I know you just as good as I know myself.
What is it about Jalen, you think, from your point of view, last year to this year, that is like cementing him as a guy that people are talking about? This motherfucker might win the MVP.
Well, I know which one thing you want me to say. He's a dog.
Yeah! Yeah!
He's a dog!
Yeah! Fucking dog!
Do you maybe want to play best 2 out of 3, rock, paper, scissors, coach first coach?
You're there forever, huh? Like, you have to have that mindset as the head coach. Like, do you feel like you're the perfect head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles? Because it feels like the team is the perfect representative of the city of Philadelphia. And I might be wrong. I'm from Pittsburgh, so the Johns are going to judge me for that.
I love the passion of the city and how much they care about football, because I care about football. I love football. I don't have a lot of hobbies. My biggest hobby is football.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, what you got?
Scissors. Yeah, the same person.
Okay.
We both threw scissors.
Dog mentality really is to be in the moment that you're in now and not worry about what happened in the past, not worry about what's going to happen in the future. It's all about our process and about being here today to make sure we're about to go 1-0 this week. That's it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh, yeah. I definitely got Jason Kelce the kegs of beer. I was just trying to sweeten the deal of him coming back. As long as I'm the football coach here, I want him here, so I'm ready to give as many kegs of beer to him next year and the year after that and the year after that, because that guy is a dog.
Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
Same man.
We are getting our ass kicked in this preseason game. Belichick is taking it to us. It's halftime, and we are getting booed like you've never been. I was like,
rock,
paper,
scissors,
shoot.
Oh, I think you might have rock there, but hey.
You got no idea what I'm going to do, because you're like, there's no way he's throwing scissors again. Come on, baby. I got a damn flower thrown at me, right? A flower chucked down. We lost to the Chargers. Boom, flower chucked down.
Hey, how's your little manure settling in? That's literally what that John said as they were throwing that John at you. They were like, how's the manure and how's the flowers coming, coach?
Hey, this is game 7 here. Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
Oh. Scissors again. He threw scissors again, so did I. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, you guys are the same. Come on, hey, this is for 15 or 10.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! Dog mentality.
I got dog mentality, coach. What can I tell you?
Hello and welcome to the Special Investigative Report. Much has been made in the media world on the life and charitable donations of the man Pat McAfee, especially lately with the rise of the ever-popular Pat McAfee Show, a show that, in his own words, stinks. We thought it privy to dive into the inner workings and machinations of this tiny business, this small regional show that has reached international discourse. We sat down with the suit himself, Bruce Brown, to figure out what, where, when, why, and how they're able to give away so much money to the viewers of this incredible program.
So yeah, when you enter a Pat McAfee Show giveaway or win a FanDuel merch picks contest on Sunday, essentially, the entire hashtag will be downloaded into an Excel file, and the winners will be randomized within that. And then we do a quick scumbag check, basically click on the profile and make sure, you aren't a robot or blocked by Pat. And then it'll be transferred over to Dirty Gertie, who creates the Winner Wednesday graphic, which then runs on the show each Wednesday in a commercial break. If you win over $599, we're going to need your email, or you can email giveaways@patmcafeeshow.com. If it's under $599, all we need is your cash tag. And if you win merch, obviously we need your size, address, and what you want from the store. Usually I'll just reply to you on Twitter. If you have any questions about any giveaway, whether it's cash that you either are waiting on or merch, you can just reach out to me on Twitter or email giveaways@patmcafeeshow.com. Please give us about 1 to 2 weeks to sort out your prize. That's typically how long it takes. But again, if you have any questions, just reach out to us.
We reached out to PMI's money man himself, CFO Phil, for an on-camera interview. Regretfully, he declined the segment, but he did give us the salacious, juicy details. In an email correspondence, CFO Phil replied, $2.6 million year to date. Too much money. There you have it. $2.6 million given away, a pissed off CFO, and a show that quote unquote stinks. Good night, good morrow, good luck, and good fortunes.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show on Overreaction Monday, November 28th. Today's show is presented by Cash App. Hell yeah. Brandon Staley going for 2 for the win.
That's money.
Josh Jacobs in overtime. That's money. When personal finance connects you to both your funds and the stuff that matters, that's money. And that's Cash App. You guys know what else is money? What's that? Being able to handle our giveaways quickly.
Oh,
hell
that
yeah.
is
I'm
money.
talking about sending,
What?
spending,
What?
saving,
What?
splitting,
What?
tipping,
What?
and donating all in a single finance app. That's money, and that's Cash App. Download Cash App today and use code McAfee for $15. Terms apply.
Terms do apply. Let's make sure we understand what
Yeah.
the terms are before we apply anything.
That's right. Of course. Smart.
Terms apply here. You get a chance to listen to a toxic guy talk every single day about sports from Ohio. His name's AJ Hawk. Thank you, AJ. Those terms do apply when you watch this show.
Always.
Terms do apply. Toxic table will exist. Boston Connor, Ty Schmidt. Those are good terms that apply around here.
Sometimes.
Don't have a 2-0 moment, please.
Oh, yeah, no, I was talking about sometimes we bring positivity. It's not always toxicity, you know?
Yeah, but your positivity is through a vein of toxicity, though. It's like a surface, and then there's the underneath.
It depends what we're talking about, but yeah, I can see what you mean by that.
Hey, what's going on over there? What a moment earlier.
Yeah, sure.
We mentioned the photo from Jerry Jones when he was 14 years old. That was from Snyder, you think? Dan Snyder?
Who dug that? Had they been holding it for a while, or they just find it?
They had it sitting right here.
Has he responded?
One more decade.
Yeah, you said I was just curious. The heck you guys yelling about?
Huh? One more decade.
What's up?
That person's sitting on that photo.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to run me out? I'm going to make billions of dollars off of running a team terribly? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Boom.
Let's see how people react to this.
Boom. Retweet, share, MySpace it.
Send it.
Do it.
Send it to the post.
That's a wild time, dude. That is in one human lifetime. That's what I remembered.
Yeah. So
when I saw
old.
that photo, I'm like, holy fuck, that is not that. That is not that long ago.
No.
Holy shit. Let's continue to become better as a society, huh?
Yeah, what do we say?
Let's continue
One
to
day
do
at a
that.
time.
Let's keep getting better. And we will all hope for the day where we don't have assholes. But we will all understand that assholes will always exist. And there will come a day where we will not let them bring us apart. No. We will actually come together around burying said assholes. Ain't that right?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, AJ. Hell yeah.
Who are you burying right now?
Huh?
Why?
Who are you trying to bury right now then?
No, that was just that was a sermon.
Yeah.
You ever heard of one?
My bad.
Maybe you need
My
to.
bad.
Maybe you need to listen to more of them.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't hear him
Come on.
join it in saying, yeah.
Yeah, or amen.
He didn't clap either.
He didn't clap either.
Why would I
did.
interrupt the sermon? I would never
You're
interrupt.
supposed to.
Because it was an interruptible.
Yeah,
It was an interruptible sermon. It was an energy sermon. Whenever I start talking about what we all hope to become, hallelujah.
AJ's pro ass.
What's that, AJ?
No. I'm not jumping into your sermon game now. I can't.
Pro asshole.
Wow, dude, this guy doesn't want the world to be the place that we all would like to see it become. Praise the Lord.
Barrier for change.
I hate your tone. I hate your tone.
You son of a bitch.
Fluctuate your voice like that. That's the worst.
Well, I'll tell you what. Whenever I'm speaking in front of humans, you do have to carry a little bit more bass
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Those Ohioans showed up, dude. That place was deep for game day. That place was deep out there.
Oh, it was.
Sad
Yeah.
people.
A lot of
after
Ohio
that.
folk.
A lot of Ohio folks.
You wait all night, you see the Yinzers take over. It's time.
That's one half of the hammer. Cowboys Tone Diggs barking off microphone enough so you could hear it on microphone.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Right.
Pittsburgh Steelers are coming to town to play the Indianapolis Colts on Monday Night Football to wrap up Week 12 of the NFL season. How do you think this fares for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Honestly, Tone Diggs, I heard you barking. I know there will be a lot of Pittsburgh fans in the city. Our show does well in Pittsburgh. Probably should have set something up for this game. Probably. That would have been a smart decision. A little forethought would have made that happen. Instead, we'll be at the game just like everybody else. Tone, how do you feel this bodes for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Honestly, I couldn't love the Colts -2.5 more on this particular evening. Your thoughts, though, on the Pittsburgh Steelers team that's coming into town?
Couldn't love the Pittsburgh Steelers more against a Colts team that they have lost to trice times since 1984. That's only 3 times since 1984. Okay, this is a team we got the number of.
It's a different Colts team, pal. You're a different Steelers.
Yeah, it's the worst Colts team, okay?
Yeah, and you're a worse Steelers.
Maybe. Fucking maybe.
Is TJ Watt playing?
Right. Yeah. Take a look at the total real quick.
Oh, no.
See that total? Fucking 39.5. You know what that says? This game's going to stink, Pat. Okay?
No. This happened last week with the Bengals.
We're going to be there. We're going to be there.
Couldn't it go way over?
It could.
Did last week.
Fucking could.
Dude, this game is going to be ugly. It's going to be an ugly game. I'm excited for it, because George Pickens is electrifying, but we got Gilly luck.
True.
Okay, so that's like one of our strengths. We have Gilly luck. Najee Harris obviously could be a weapon for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but we have a pretty solid front. I mean, we have pretty solid run games. It feels like our defense.
No, they all got the flu. They're sick.
Our team actually sick?
Colts battle and flu.
Oh, yeah, your team is actually sick. A lot of those guys are out.
Oh, weak little immune systems.
Who? I thought Zaire Franklin was questionable.
44.
Yeah.
Can't get off the toilet, yeah.
Yeah, he's just been pooping liquid.
Thanksgiving's going to do that to everybody. We overindulge a little bit too much. We have to get it out of us. There's a binge. There's a purge. The purge happens to be out of the asshole. That happens to everybody. That doesn't mean he's missing the game. It's Thanksgiving season. People are overeating. Indianapolis Colts injury report: DeForest Buckner, ribs and illness. Full participant on Saturday. There we go.
He's fine, yeah.
Ryan Kelly, full participant. Here we go. Quiddy Pay is not.
Paris Campbell's full participant.
Yeah, we're back. What are we talking? Oh, yeah.
Zaire Franklin. Yeah, it's that bottom one. Yeah, those two.
Illness. A
Questionable, so he could still play.
What's all the illnesses, though? Illness.
What?
What are
The
they?
flu.
Somebody ate mashed potatoes, am I
The
right?
flu's back?
Kiefer said it was the flu.
Yeah, COVID cases
Congrats to
down.
the flu. I mean, nobody likes it. Nobody likes the flu.
No.
Don't want anybody to get the flu. If you get the flu, it's terrible. But the flu, I mean, I think we got to be pretty impressed with its comeback because I thought.
I was told.
I was told
Is that right?
that if a virus ends and it doesn't happen anymore, it doesn't just jump back into the game. We didn't get the flu. The flu was gone, right, for 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like it was.
So what was it doing? It was just kind of hanging out like those cicadas underneath the
stronger.
dirt?
Laying in wait.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Holy shit. We got to look out for the flu then. Taking the Colts out. Monday Night Football game. First time at home in 7 years or something like that for Indianapolis.
Really?
So we never have a Monday Night Football game at home. Never have a Thursday Night Football game at home. Just kind of the way it normally goes because I don't know why Monday Night Football, but conventions normally eat up the hotels on Thursday nights because our city is a convention city. So there's a lot of conventions here. So allegedly couldn't have Thursday Night Football in Indy because some convention was happening and hotels would not be available for one reason or not. Not great for the city to have that be the reasoning why you're not getting a primetime game in a stadium that changed the landscape of the entire city, but that is normally the case. So I think Indianapolis is going to be very excited to host a primetime game this evening. I think it's great, and I think we'll do great, but I think there's going to be a lot of terrible towels out there because it's only a 6-hour drive through the state of Ohio that is literally just the same site for 6 hours. You just see the same thing for 6 hours. And I don't know how you don't fall asleep on the way over there. I made the drive plenty of times. I used to vacation in Pittsburgh in the off season. I would just make the drive over 6 hours. I'd take a nap for a couple hours while all my friends were at work. It'd be a Wednesday. We're going to go tear down Pittsburgh on a Wednesday night. They would go to work. I'd sleep on their couches. They'd get back from work, dead tired, exhausted, hungover. Oh, come on,
What are we doing? On vacation.
What are we doing? I mean, it's my off season. What are we even doing? Boom, we're out again. Then I drive back, maybe take a week off, let the boys survive. That following week, though, I'm coming back. We're having a long weekend. That was that was what I did when I was younger. So I've done that drive plenty of times. It's not a fun drive. Easy drive, though. There's going to be a lot of Pittsburgh people probably in this thing tonight. Look for a lot of terrible towels, but the Colts fans will show up. Let's not get crazy. Jeff Saturday on primetime? Sure. Let's go, baby.
Is there a thought that the Colts come out guns blazing because it is the kicking the stigma in this Whaled game?
Sure. Yes.
Patty had one of the best moments of all time
Yeah, that was
on
awesome.
a ring camera this weekend.
That was awesome.
Shout out to Patty for continuing to be a good guy.
Baby Patty.
Seemingly in good shape, too.
Yeah.
Saw the
He did
jawline.
look
He's
good.
back.
That was one of the first things I noticed. I was like, okay, Patty's probably gearing up for a fight here because I remember, I think Dana said, with what he does with his weight, it's tough to make a fight for him because we have to literally gauge it in his times. He also said something about it being unhealthy or whatever. And Patty lives his life. If I was Patty, I'd be doing the same damn thing. So I got no problems with it, but it has been a conversation. He shows up on a ring camera this weekend. Not only shows the world he's a good guy, good neighbor, but also in shape. Is Patty getting? Do we know if he has another fight? Is it already on the books? Has this already been announced?
I would assume it's about time here.
Yeah.
Probably within the next few months.
Because wasn't the meatball one when she was in New York? He just said he wasn't going to fight them, but it would be around
Because of the
December
tax
10th.
match.
Yes.
December 10th, I believe.
Here's the video from the ring camera
That's
that Patty the Batty made an appearance in that I think has garnered maybe 30 million views, 40 million views. Great commercial for Ring and also an incredible display of humanitarianism from our guy, Patty Pimblett. It's going great. Oh, it's muted.
There's no sound on it.
It's muted.
He looks good, though.
Yeah, he does. He's yoked.
It's our video, not the Ring camera. The Ring camera has sound.
Okay.
We don't want to bury ring.com
Sure.
for not having sound. We would like that to be known that that is our fault.
Okay.
This is our technology. There's no sound on this. It's going to be tough to really fully grasp.
You could do his voice. Couldn't you do his voice and what he's saying?
Please, Ty. Please. All right, let's run the video. This is a reenactment of Patty the Batty here, not actually Patty. Sound is not working on the video. Patty impersonator here to let us know basically what happened.
Hello? Listen, I'm so sorry to do this, lad, but me dog took a sloppy shit. Do you have like any water that I could clean it up with, lad? I'm sorry, lad. No, just like and then the lady says something like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll clean it up." And are you sure, lad? I mean, do you have any water? Like I said, I hate doing this. Your dog took a sloppy shit. I'd like to clean it up for you. I'm sorry, lad.
It's no problem.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Again, I hate doing this so much.
I appreciate it. Are you Patty?
Yeah, lad. I am Paddy Pimblett. My dog, again, took a sloppy shit.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, thanks again. Have a nice night,
That
Mark.
was a video. That was a video.
Oh, you watch it again?
That was awesome. But he seemingly is in fight shape right now.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how we got to Patty the Batty from where we were, but I'll tell you what.
You see T.O.? You see T.O.'s fight video?
The stigma game.
Oh, yeah, stigma game tonight. Yes, kicking the stigma.
Yeah.
The Colts are raising money for mental health awareness and for, I think, financially helping people to get mental health. I think they figured out the proper channels to get money there with the Kicking the Stigma campaign that Jim Irsay is behind, the entire Irsay family's behind. So tonight something massive is happening with that. So there's going to be good vibes in Lucas Oil Stadium.
We better win, or the whole mental health of this city is going to be down the tube.
I hope you're happy making a joke about something like that.
It wasn't
I hope
a joke.
you're happy. I hope you're happy.
I'm not joking around. That's how it works in football cities.
That is real. Pittsburgh gets like that. That's why I think you're going to see a lot of terrible towels. I remember plenty of weeks of not necessarily any happiness because the Pittsburgh Steelers had just lost to a team that they weren't supposed to.
Exactly.
Cordell Stewart either threw a pick or dropped a touchdown pass or fumbled a kickoff return. Whatever he was doing to make us lose a game, everybody was miserable. And on the flip side, when they win a game, people are either relieved, get by, don't even remember that it happened, or they're incredibly happy. So you're right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily the case here with this particular season. We've already fired our fucking head coach.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there are zero expectations, but when you're on prime time.
Don't let Coach Tomlin, who I'm a big – Coach Tomlin's the only reason why I'm in the NFL. He literally led my senior day, pro day workout, and he's the only reason scouts came and watched me, why the Colts came and watched me. So I got nothing but appreciation for Mike Tomlin. The NFL actually posted my fake punt from that game where I did the big dick walk afterwards, the billionaire strut, that whole thing. What doesn't get talked about is Mike Tomlin, after we score a touchdown after that fake punt, as I'm coming out to do a kickoff, is doing the walk down the side. That's how comfortable he was in that game, first of all. But he gave me what's up right after the kickoff, as did Darius Hayward-Bay, I think, and a couple other people were on the sideline. I'm like, we just scored against this. They got no worries. Seems like they –
oh, boy.
And they went on to win by 3 scores. I mean, they went on to kill us. But I have a lot of appreciation for Mike Tomlin and Pittsburgh Steelers organization, obviously growing up there. With that being said, hey, Tomlin, don't fucking let Jeff Saturday beat you.
Yeah.
Don't
Can't
let it happen, AJ. Don't let Jeff Saturday get a win here on Monday Night Football. Don't do it, AJ. Don't do it.
You think that's something really on Tomlin's mind? Like, I mean,
Should be.
I can't. Like, I respect Jeff so much, but I just can't be losing this guy as a head coach.
And nameless, grayless faces is Tomlin's mantra or whatever. I wonder if there's one with curly hair though. when he was thinking about it with Jeff Saturday. Let's move to some overreactions from around the Twitter world, shall we? Thank you for Patty the Batty showing up there and being a good person and taking care of his community. Let's do some overreactions. Put out a tweet this morning and said, hey, listen, a lot happened yesterday. A lot of teams are in much different places now than they were on Thanksgiving or on Friday. Go ahead and let your fandom opinions out unfiltered. We won't judge you. Actually, we'll celebrate you. This is a safe space. This is Twitter. Use hashtag PMS. I don't want to overreact, but and the best ones will make the air. Go ahead, Foxy. Super Bowl. With that being said, a lot of shit to figure out. We fucking suck. We should probably just get rid of that.
I suck.
Yeah, no, you don't.
I suck.
You don't, but we should probably get rid of that because I forgot that we had it until I seen it. So it's my fault just as much as it is your fault. But that is kind of the essence of the program. Every team can win a Super Bowl, but a lot is going wrong. Or every team's the greatest and nothing's going wrong. And then 1 week from now, the tweets from the same people look vastly different. Ty goes through all of them. I believe it became a trending topic in 10 minutes or something like that. People really get behind this, so we appreciate the hell out of you. Let's dive into them. This one's from Jay Sams at Jay Sams. You dig. Hashtag PMS, I don't want to overreact. But Cincinnati Bengals are back like they never left. Everyone doubted them at the beginning, but we are back to where we was last year. Stopping Derrick Henry easily and winning without Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon. Super Bowl bound Again, love the fact that he used 2 exclamation points as opposed to the word were earlier and said we was. I thought he was doing that to save some characters. Allegedly going to 1,000 characters soon under Elon Musk's watch. There will be a lot of changes to Twitter. That would be an interesting one. That would be a fascinating one. I'm not sure I'd be the biggest fan of it, but hey, it's his fucking platform. Do whatever you want to do. Nonetheless, Jay Sams, you dig, says Cincinnati Bengals are back. AJ, your thoughts on this comment, and do you think this is an overreaction, or is this status quo and how they should be viewing their team right now?
I think it's status quo, and if people are Bengals fans, they kind of channel Joe Burrow, I feel like, in Joe's confidence and his moxie and everything, how he carries himself. You feel like Joe goes into every game, and it feels like, hey, he expects to win. He expects to complete every ball, expects to throw multiple touchdowns. So, now you couple that with their defense, man. You see Mike Hilton yesterday, some big-time tackles. Like, they are physical. They can get after the quarterback. Like, they definitely have it going. And now, Jamar Chase is back, what? Soon, correct?
Next week.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is back. We assume Mixon will be back. P. Ryan has gotten incredible opportunity to showcase that he's also a guy. And told us, defensive coordinator of the Bengals, told us, hey, Hilton will lay
Mikey.
He'll lay the wood. Happy that happened. Coach Aruma.
Yeah, Coach Aruma.
They showed him during the game, and I instantly heard all of you guys doing that.
A lot of that from Bengals fans, though. They're all the way back. They just beat the Titans. Fuck everybody.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks especially. Like earlier in the year, it was a lot of like, we stink. Like we're 1 year wonders. Now it's look at what we're doing without 2 of our best offensive weapons. We're all the way back.
Let's go to the next overreaction, or maybe standard at Metcalf's Burner. Shout out Metcalf's Burner also on IG if you want to get follow. Hashtag PMS. I don't want to overreact, but as a Seahawks fan, we are fucking dead. Our run defense is god awful, and the realization that we suck has finally sunk in.
Whoa!
He yelled that.
Yelling it.
He literally was typing on his phone.
So pissed.
As a Seahawks fan, we are fucking dead. Our run defense is god awful, and the realization that we suck has finally sunk in. Oh my god. I don't think you guys stink.
No.
I think you guys should be happy. I think your team, now granted, gave up like 300 yards rushing to Josh Jacobs, which is like an NFL record of some sort, and he busted out an 86-yarder in overtime, which never happens.
Never.
An 86-yard rush touchdown to end the game in overtime never seemingly happens. Why? Well, probably got somebody back, probably playing a little bit safer. Field goal first drive, not that big of a deal at that point. We never see it. So Josh Jacobs ending his day the same way he seemingly started his day with a long run is alarming if you're a Seahawks fan. I like Pete Carroll, though. I think they got good coaches over there. I think they're a good team still. Do you agree with that or no?
No, I agree. They're still a good team. You want them to be able to stop the run a little more consistently on defense. But no, I think whatever Geno's doing, whatever he has going there, they have some kind of good culture building, whatever it is. Maybe it's just they've all rallied behind how they feel about Russ or what it was like before last year. Now they're enjoying themselves so much this year that they can't help but go win some playoff games.
Correct me if I'm wrong, boys. Geno might have threw a pick, and then he came back and dropped one in a bucket. And I thought maybe, he starts playing bad. Will Geno be like, this is Geno? Like what we had watched was like not actual Geno. He bounced right back into throwing darts and running. It was like, I think they got some good pieces. I think they're in a good spot. You got to be happy with where you are now as opposed to where you thought you were going to be coming into the season after you trade Russell Wilson away.
Yeah.
And I think we got to remember that, even though it's going into week 13.
Yeah, and they're probably going to end up going to the playoffs just because the Commanders, Giants, and Cowboys have every wild card spot. And you assume one of those teams is going to, consume the other because they still have to play each other.
We are Commanders. Bum, 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 bum. How about them getting another win?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Congrats to them. Taylor Heineke, those are going to be sick Jays. Falcons color, that's Bulls colors. So he can get some classics here.
Yeah, a lot of options.
A lot of options, a lot of opportunities. What a leader.
Yeah,
hell of a leader.
What a leader, man.
Guys love him.
That guy's zinning and winning and loving and giving. This guy, seemingly perfect quarterback for that Commanders team that is in a complete inept building, and they're still winning football games. Yeah. Congrats to all of them, man.
They might give him a fucking mannequin.
So
technically, it wasn't even a mannequin.
It wasn't.
Not even that good.
Didn't have enough material to be a mannequin.
Couple wires just hanging.
Not a statue at all, really.
How hard is it to make like a bronze statue?
I don't know, because we've seen terrible ones, but they got made.
Right.
So at least the thought was there. It was almost more on the artist. as opposed to the people that were thinking of it. Like this one, they didn't even think of it. And then they marketed, right, that they were doing
That's
this?
the big thing. They
will kill them with this, they
Yeah,
said.
they marketed all this, and then it was almost like 12 hours before they're like, oh, fuck, we forgot to actually do it. Like, we need to hurry up, throw something together real quick. Like, I don't know, but I would assume that, like, making, like, a bronze statue or some sort of statue, like, would have been very, very feasible and easy to do.
Well, even if it's not bronze, you can paint something that looks
Yeah.
like bronze because it's in a case that nobody's going to know.
Right.
They could have got paper mache.
Yeah.
Did the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yep.
Spray painted it a bronze. Like, even with the paint that has, like, a little glisten and gloss to it. So they would do the Commanders version of a statue.
Sure. Right.
But instead, they out-Commandered themselves.
Yeah.
They went even worse than that. Didn't even try to make it a bronze painting of some sort underneath. That could have cost, I mean, no shit, maybe $25 to create if you get the right artist to do it. Wild, AJ. Wild over there that this is an NFL organization doing this stuff. And once again, it's just a lack of self-awareness to promote that this is happening. Like, not only is it a bad idea, and maybe they think they could just sneak it in, so when people get into FedEx Field that has poop pipes bursting in them and gates falling and people almost getting hurt, Jalen Hurts almost getting in. So, but maybe they walk by and go, oh, we didn't even see this was happening. But to market it as if it was a big deal, that's no self-awareness. To have that be what you decide to make it be, that's ineptitude. And then there had to be numerous people that had to sign off on it. That's stoogery all around. This place is hilariously bad, AJ. They are bad at everything.
Are they throwing us off the scent? Are they trying to throw us off the scent so we don't worry about the other stuff going on in the organization? Like, what are they doing? What's the plan here?
They're just absolute doofuses. Everyone who
It's worse
saw
than,
this
like-
and thought, like, yeah, this is okay, we can put this out and we can promote it, it's on them too. Like, I don't know who in the organization saw this and thought, like, yeah, people are going to love this.
Like, we love Jason Wright.
That's what I was
Exactly. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Friend of the program.
Former player.
fan.
Yeah.
Any former player that gets a position in an NFL team that is in seemingly importance and sway and can change, I think that's a good thing. Let alone coming from a consulting firm that put out fires. Like, that's literally where he came from. So he's a player who came from a firm that seemingly was giving people the right answers whenever they couldn't figure it out. So he was the perfect hire at the time, in our eyes, for the Washington football team, now the Washington Commanders, formerly the Washington Beeps, okay? Which is in the statue.
Right.
Which is in the statue.
On the helmet.
Will always be, I guess, in the Hall of Fame. And also every shirt that every away team Commanders fans goes to.
Yeah.
Because they're not buying the new merch. Because they have no idea how long the Commanders are going to be the Commanders. Because there's going to be a new owner. So they're all wearing the beep shirts everywhere, nonetheless. But they are so bad at what they do. It makes no sense to me. I can't fathom it. I thought Jason Wright would be at least like a
Did he not know about this? Did he
Had
not,
to
like, is
have.
there just
The
too
president.
Much, there might be too much to
President.
handle, though. There's too much going on here. I don't know, because this, like, I don't think Dick's Sporting Goods would have put this up as a display thing. I really don't.
No, not to sell the jerseys. They wouldn't put it up, let alone to honor somebody who's like one of their best employees of all time. Like that is, it's wild to me. It's wild. Doug Peterson, who just won a game for the Jags, has a statue in Philadelphia with Nick Foles, who's the backup quarterback here in Indianapolis. That was just a couple years ago. They have a statue up there. Peyton Manning obviously has a statue here. Pat Tillman has a statue. There is precedent to
RG3 has one in Baylor.
at Baylor. Yeah, there is precedent to statues at stadiums. Like, there's expectations probably when people hear of a statue at if this was the first one and there wasn't actual statues at other places, maybe people be like, oh, we would have done it differently. But whenever it's already been a blueprint, basically, and you do that, everybody goes, you guys suck at everything.
What the
Do we
fuck?
think somebody dropped it and they broke it?
Oh, no.
And they're like, oh, shit, what do we do?
Jason Wright, PR guy, put out fires, put in two metal rods.
Go grab some rods.
Put in metal rods to make it look like a human.
Get some hot dog holders.
Put cutters, gloves on. Oh, he likes soccer shoes? Give us the coupon
Go
button.
to Dick's. Go to Dick's right now.
Get soccer shoes. You gotta just put it in there, and then we'll put a big, and then we'll just move along. Nobody will talk about it. We're still giving a statue, right? Yeah. That's what had to have happened. Zito told me it takes 4 to 6 weeks to make a statue.
Yeah, so there's probably a new one there.
Probably been planning this like for at least over a year now. So
maybe.
You think?
Last year was the whole Jackson Mahomes thing.
Yeah, they like retired his number or whatever and put.
But
it
I
on the
heard that was
field.
just 4 days before, right?
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
True. That is a good point.
So they said, not again.
We're not. Yeah, we're gonna honor him the right way. God damn, they suck.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another overreaction, shall we, from around the Twitter. This is from Timothy Ludwig, the real Mr. Lud. There's other Mr. Luds out there. Fugaze.
That's right, Tim.
This is the real Mr. Lud. AJ, what are your thoughts just before we dive into this tweet about Timothy Ludwig, the real Mr. Lud?
I'm glad he, separated himself from the others, that aren't the real one.
Yeah, and I'm sick of all these other people acting like they're the fucking real Mr. Lud.
They're not.
They ain't.
I'm tired of it. Timothy said, me too. Give it to me as my Avi. At the real Mr. Lud. Hashtag PMS, I don't want to overreact, but Magic Mike White Lightning has the Jets soaring into and through the playoffs while at the same time forcing Zach Wilson to be sulking and scouring the Cougars.com database for a New York, New Jersey mommy to coddle him. Shrugs. Sorry about it, says the real Mr. Lud. This is a fascinating situation. And Mike White knowingly was going to have to talk about this whenever they draft a quarterback number 2 overall, how the expectation business-wise, fan-wise, organization-wise, is that the person that you invest the highest draft pick possible into is going to be the face of the program. A lot of people are too stubborn. A lot of people have egos. A lot of people don't like to put that aside for the good of the team. This is what we invested. This is what we're going to use. Doesn't just happen in the NFL. Happens in all businesses, but certainly has been happening for the New York Jets. Mike White comes in last year, does a bang-up job against the Cincinnati Bengals, throws for like 400 yards, then takes on New England and Buffalo, who had the 2 best defenses in the league, did not fare well. Played against the Colts, walked right down the field, had some nerve damage. Then he was pulled, didn't get to play anymore after that whole thing. He comes back into a game this weekend, has 250 yards by halftime, 300 total. Zach Wilson had only done that like maybe once or never done that. I forget the entire stat line. This dude is a guy. Carries himself as if he's a guy. I know he called him Magic Mike White Lightning. You need to add moxie in there too because this dude has it in bunches. His confidence seems to be through the roof at all times, and his teammates love him. That's seemingly the issue with Zach Wilson. Not only does he make bad decisions and put his team in bad places, he has all the arm talent in the world, so I guess he could become a guy if he figures that all out. But seemingly the locker room can do with that. Even including in moments whenever he says, have you disappointed in the defense? He says no. That told me that he had no relationship with anybody on the defense because he could have at least said, I feel like I let down Sauce. Me and Sauce have a great relationship. Sauce is playing like that. So I feel like there was a lack of a relationship to begin with. Everybody was talking about, did that comment ruin his relationship with the locker room? I think there was a lack of a relationship to begin with. And that could potentially stem from when Mike White was playing a year ago, there was chanting Mike White in the locker room in front of Zach Wilson's face. So I think Mike White's wanted by the team. I think Mike White's wanted by the fans. I think Mike White has put things on film that say he's a fucking NFL quarterback. Why not? Why not, AJ? Why not Mike White?
Why not ride? I figured they have to ride him, ride the hot hand, right? You got to take him as long as he's still playing like this. You can't take this guy out of the lineup, can you?
Is there anything to saying he's our guy long term? Does that just kill Zach? Is that why they won't
do it? The rest
do
of this year, I mean, you could say hey, he's in there. We're gonna let him roll the rest of this year and see how it goes. Couldn't you say that?
Because they have to balance Zach Wilson out, right? Because Zach Wilson could come back. Mike White could get hurt, right?
Yeah.
And then they have Joe Flacco there. And Mike White could, I guess, throw 7 picks in a game because something happens that he hasn't seen before because he's still, not as experienced as other quarterbacks around the NFL. But why not? I don't know. I think because
what was the report, though? Was it a tweet or whoever was observing them on the sidelines and said, after one of Mike White's touchdowns early, Flacco, everyone, the other quarterback who was there, they're all pumping him up. They're excited. And Zach Wilson was sitting on the other side of the bench just by himself, basically.
They're watching film. Strafolsky was the other one.
And that's coming off after he gave that press conference where he just, all the bullshit with hey, this is a very humbling opportunity. It's a chance for me to get better. That's all horseshit. You look at the way he acted, he's not happy for the guy, obviously, and you have an ego and everything, and then they talked about post game where he was out of there before any of the reporters got into the locker room. He's pouting that he's not starting anymore, and he's pissed that this guy's coming in and lighting the world on fire.
Yeah, the Zach Wilson story is fascinating.
Yeah. I think you know exactly what you're getting with that guy.
What's that?
I mean, he's a petulant, sack of shit.
Whoa! Oh!
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 And you can't write him off, right? Because can you even trade him then in the offseason? Like, will any teams want him if you're like, this guy?
I don't know if anybody's going to want him. Honestly, I feel like
they have to. Don't you think they have to at least give him, they're thinking we have to give this dude another shot and hopefully he works out?
Someone's thinking.
Do they?
You're thinking Carolina?
They have a chance now to go with Mike White.
Maybe.
Why would Carolina?
Well, they will. That's what I'm saying. If Mike continues to light up like this.
Other teams.
If you could trade a 5th-round pick for it, I bet some teams would, jump at that. But.
So this is and it got brought up earlier about the Cardinals moving on. Rosen, they moved on from Rosen. And everybody goes, whoa, moved on from Rosen. And then, no offense, Rosen, hell of a player at UCLA. Big fan. Love the hot tub, love the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Rosen one.
Yep.
I'm a fan of Rosen, the human.
He was almost taken first overall.
Yeah, I think in the NFL, he did not really pan out for one reason or another. I wonder if that's what they'll say about Zach Wilson, because of all the bullshit. And you know how it is. You get labeled in the bullshit and you don't have film that makes you look great. That's going to be – teams will handle bullshit if you are –
worth the bullshit.
Next level.
If you're a dog, they will handle it. But the distraction, negative, bad teammate thing cannot become your narrative or nobody will fucking sign you. That is literally what will happen.
Why would they? Why would they ever bring you in if they think it's going to be a problem? If you're not playing well, not putting good tape out there, at least be known as a locker room dude who brings people together, who's a great teammate.
Bingo. Because if you're killing it on the field, they can go, all right, we can get him in our locker room, our culture. Everybody will like him. We'll know how to handle it. But if you stink and you're a bad teammate,
it's tough.
I think just think about humans making decisions. Do I want to risk my family's, house and stability on this person who could potentially linger into some young guy's ear, who could then linger into somebody else's ear, then linger into somebody else's I don't know. That's just a tough thing. When you get labeled a distraction, and we've all seen it play out, and this will be the most spoiled version of it, I think, right?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how we're all viewing it. We're all viewing it like this dude's spoiled. Tebow's distraction, vastly different than Zach Wilson's distraction. Mm-hmm. Johnny Manziel's distraction, vastly different than Zach Wilson's distraction. But as soon as you get labeled a distraction, not good. That is all sure. Plus, if you suck, I think he's done. I think Zach Wilson is done.
And he's in New York, too. He's in New York dealing with the extra, the magnitude of how the press and everything is there. So it's a tough, perfect storm for him right now, I feel like.
This is not me saying he's a bad teammate. This is me just saying the narrative about him is he's a bad teammate and he sucks. So with those two being together, I am going to say I think he is done. I think it's going to be tough for a team to sign him unless he's just a backup, which doesn't seemingly fit into how he is acting yesterday, but who knows? They'll figure it out.
Well, that's what I was going to say, though, is if you're a shitty teammate, you can't be a career backup either because, that's what you're supposed and that's kind of what Orlovsky said a couple weeks ago. He's like, how do you think I stuck around for as long as I did? It's because I was a good teammate. I don't have the physical tools that he had, but if you're a dickhead and just a punk all the time, look at Sam Darnold, I don't think if he doesn't get another opportunity to be a starting quarterback, I think he will be a serviceable backup quarterback for a long time because there's no narratives out there that he's a shitty teammate.
It's bad. Zach Wilson should be doing press conferences talking about how much he and his teammates get along because that is our natural thought. This guy's a bad teammate. Yeah. That's not a good narrative. That's not a good. Yeah. That's not good for anybody. Let's go to another overreaction. What were you going to say?
Darnold, and same with Baker too. Baker was the number 1 overall pick. They're both in Carolina, and Baker's, headbutting guys even though he's not playing. I feel like his narrative as a good teammate has changed a little, and he's proven that he can be a backup.
You think he will? Yeah.
Will he be a good backup?
Yeah.
If he doesn't have to play, yeah.
Jeez, kind of a shot. I didn't expect that. Do you expect him to be a career backup, Baker Mayfield?
I don't know. I think he's better. I think he's top 62 quarterbacks in the NFL.
64, but that's not how it works with backup quarterbacks. You have to be able to break down film very well. You have to be able to make every single throw in practice. You have to be able to be a good conversation or communicator between not just quarterback room and team, but team to quarterback room. Like backup quarterback has a lot different slate than just, hey, guy's a good ball player, I think. And that's all this success. That's just the ones that I got to watch. Now, obviously, I might be in a different situation than others, but that's why it's not just the best 64, I think, personally, AJ. Do you think that as well?
I mean, I think we've heard Orlovsky say it on here before. Like, there'll be times like you come off the sideline and say, like, he's the backup to Matt Stafford back in the day. Sometimes Stafford's got to deal with something with the protection of the O-line or whatever's going on, and the backup would go over to the wideouts and talk about, hey, what coverage did you see here? Oh, well, we're expecting you to break it here, or break out on that one, or sit down in this zone. Like, you also have to be able to communicate what the starter wants, too.
Yeah, and you have, like, homework. Like, hey, need you to
absolutely.
go home and break down their entire cover two. Need to know if Blankenship, if he comes in for CJGJ, if he can disguise a cover three and then break into a cover two out of nowhere. You know what I mean? What a play by that fucking rookie last night. That was awesome to watch.
Had to feel pretty good for him, huh?
Dude, think about
Making
him.
that play.
Think about him deciding he's going to do that. Okay, I'm going to do this. Third play. Is this his third fucking play in the NFL? Undrafted rookie?
I think that's what they said, yeah.
Jeez.
All right, here we go. I'm going to get eyes. As soon as I get eyes with Aaron, I'll start breaking on this thing. Backpedal. No big deal. He's not looking at me anymore. I'm fucking in it. What a play. What a play. This dude's – he's going to be in the NFL a long time. I think that dude's going to be playing in a long time in the NFL if everything DB has taught me anything. It seems like that guy fucking knows what he's doing. Seems like that undrafted rookie has very, very much figured out that particular defensive concept.
That spot, too, like CJGJ is leading the NFL in picks. Like, if the guy who is coming in for him is a bum, like, that changes Philadelphia's back end quite a bit.
I would assume, and we'll ask Aaron tomorrow, you see this undrafted rookie come into the middle of the defense. It is a natural, here we go. Thank God we can work. I've talked about this before where I was watching a game from the sideline and I was just like, you know, you get an interesting perspective from the sideline because you're hearing everybody yell and bitch. Like NFL films, you get to hear everybody mic'd up. When you're sitting on the sideline, you get to hear a little bit more, and there's a lot more emotion, obviously, and there's some more things that are said that come out. But whenever you start like listening to what they're actually pointing at and how basic, I don't want to say how basic it's getting, but rookie corner comes into the game. Everybody on the sideline was just saying the number, basically, and you see Peyton's massive hat, not as big as Brian Robinson's hat that he was wearing yesterday. That's the best thing Commanders have had come out of that building.
Sure. That thing's sweet.
That hat. Brian Robinson's friend has that hat company. But you would see his big-ass helmet just find the rookie corner, and then you saw everybody just immediately go, okay, well, that's who we're going to kill here. And it was the whole offense. Maybe they planned for something else. Rookie corner comes in. We're changing everything immediately. We're fucking attacking this guy until he proves that he's supposed to be in the NFL. We are going to attack this. I assume that same thing happened with fucking Blankenship last night. I assume just naturally that would take place. What a moment for him to prove that he belongs, AJ. Like, honestly, good for him.
That happens everywhere. You know, like that happens to every team, though. If someone new comes in, especially if you don't really know much about them, it's a young player, they're rookie, second year, maybe a core special teamer, quarterback's going to test that person, no question. And usually it tends to work out. Now, it didn't work out with Blankenship. He had another plan.
Good for him, though, because once you become the mark, that can get...
Yeah, you're screwed.
Tough
Good
on
luck.
the sideline,
That
too.
can be a long games. Like, those could be... There's players...
Peyton go after guys 7, 8, 9 times in a row.
60 times in a game. Yeah, like, oh, we're going to see. You might get one. We're going to find out if you're... They're drawing up plays on the sideline to put person in the fucking blender. Like, that is... So him just being able to do that, I think quickly other teams are like, all right, hey, this guy's a player. Like, he put the fire out almost, which is huge for his career. Who knows how long he's going to have to play. And we talked about this in the first hour. I think because Watson is such a fucking massive specimen, CJGJ broke his ribs with his own elbow, I think. Is that what you saw?
Is it broken ribs?
I don't know. That's what they were alluding to.
It was nasty how he popped up to a knee and you saw how it was in so much pain. Like, ooh, man, what is that?
So it wasn't a concussion or whatever because he wasn't that. But I think the big thing is like not moving much, especially if it's in there. Like they hit him in the back of that cart. Did you see him hit the gas?
Oh yeah.
And like hit over they ran something over.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that has to hurt so bad. If that's a rib, all he's trying to do is make that not move. Like that's why he was standing the way he was standing. And then he was on the back of that cart and they fucking jerk and then jump. I'm like, oh my God.
He's got to engage his core with that broken rib or whatever's going on in there.
But I think he hit Watson, who's a wall, so hard that his arm, I think, his elbow like went into it.
I was worried punctured lung on that. I was like, man, I hope he didn't puncture his lung right there.
Almost had 2 of them last night, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's be safe out here, boys.
Be safe.
CJ, GJ, we appreciate your playing style, man. We do. And shout out to Blankenship coming in there and making a play, putting the fire out early. I assume he'll still be tested, but goddamn.
Yeah.
You pick off Aaron Rodgers, people are going to have a little bit more respect going in.
I think Jordo got him later on the Watson long touchdown.
The crossing? I wonder if DB will.
That moment too, though. I mean, that was right after the Packers stopped them on 4th down. It was 14-20. They were in the red zone. Like, the Packers score there and take the lead early. Like, I think the momentum shifts quite a bit, and the game's probably a little bit different. But granted, they rushed for 800 yards, so it really didn't matter. But
now Aaron's never playing football again.
Yeah,
probably not.
That's where we're at now.
Crazy change of events.
Good run.
Twitter's crazy. Still up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It is. Okay.
We talked about this in the last hour. Do you have any takes on that? Do you want to get, because you're just finding out it's still alive?
No, I'm not really too versed in exactly what is going on, but I don't see it going anywhere.
Somebody told me after we tweeted it, I saw a response from somebody saying, it's a white supremacy platform. I was like, you're on it right now, so you're...
White supremacy?
So you're...
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
We got him.
That's a weird thing for you to say, like, hey, I'm a white supremacist. Well,
That's weird, because I thought Elon kicked the white supremacists off, and they were threatening to burn down his building.
I did not... Did that happen?
Did that happen?
Is that Mufa? Is that white supremacists?
Who?
Mufa?
Mufa?
I think you're thinking of Antifa, Tony.
I do not think they are the white
No.
supremacists.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I know they... I do not. I think they're on the other side, though.
I'll read up more on it.
I think they're going to be pretty pissed with what you said.
You had the name spot on.
Yeah, sounds like you got it figured out.
Yeah, I don't know what a Mufa
Tony's
is.
the new political correspondent.
Yeah, dude, he's
He
been
really
doing that a
has
little bit.
the pulse of the nation.
Politics.
I saw a fucking headline that Elon was worried about his house getting burned down.
Tony Kornacki.
Elon said he
doesn't have
sleeps.
a house.
Did you see the picture he posted? What he sleeps next to?
Yeah.
Had a revolver and another gun from the Revolution.
Yep.
Nary War, I believe.
Musket?
And then a bunch of Diet Cokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Caffeine-free
caffeine.
Diet
Wow.
Coke. Yeah.
Jeez.
This is what I sleep with, just in case anybody was thinking about
What's
fucking
that thing to the
around.
left?
That's a gun.
No, bottom left.
that a
What's that
peace
little
pipe?
deal?
I believe you put blood in there, and you keep someone's blood.
Nice.
Why?
What?
Are you serious, dude?
I see a movie Blade.
Fucking
This dude's wild, but 1,000 characters is too many.
That revolver is awesome.
Dude, just sitting there too. Imagine Elon
Trying.
just going to a gun range and figuring out how to shoot. So it's just like a rocket, right? Doing boom, boom.
It's a gun from Halo.
Yeah, it looks like one of those bullets would explode your head.
It's good news that aliens can't shoot lasers and stuff out of them. Like Elon needs a gun is good news for our future.
Well, we don't know. I mean, I've never, I assume some gun expert and enthusiast knows what that is.
Rick Harrison.
Yeah, I mean,
Pawn Stars. He's
Pawn
got a guy.
Stars?
He's got a guy. Yeah.
for all we know, that's what that little thing
That guy
is.
becomes the authority.
Yeah, he does every time he comes in.
Sorry, this thing's only worth $45. And then he buys it, and then at the end, he's in the credits. I'm going to be able to sell that thing for $700. It's like, so the expert that you just brought in fucked over said guy as well.
Yep.
It's a full thing. I mean, I respect the hustle or whatever, but I'm happy to hear Elon's not, or Twitter's not down. Twitter's not down. Elon is ready for if a motherfucker would, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he was saying.
Try him.
I think.
Jeez.
It's a white supremacist platform. You're tweeting on it right now. So did you just say? And if there are white supremacists, let's assume they'll get banned from there. Or, hey, how about this one? Just block them, baby. Hey, just block them.
Easy.
Just block them. And then if they get blocked by enough people, right, we should banish them?
Yep, see ya.
That's something we should think about doing maybe on Twitter. You get blocked by enough people, you kind of get banned from the entire universe.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Maybe you need to get a jury, you know?
That'd
to
be
vote.
cool.
You get a certain amount of blocks. You have to go to court of some sort.
Twitter court.
Twitter court. and then you have to plead your case, and then you're either allowed to stick around or you're gone forever.
Mm-hmm.
Get people a representative of all communities on that jury.
Yep.
Same thing, standard thing, and we can really clean it up on there. You know what I mean?
Don't let these people go to court, dude. Fucking bind them immediately. No court.
Yeah, but then what will happen is group orchestrated blocks of people.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, because I thought that was the right answer, and then I took some vitamins, and I was like, oh, we would just say, let's all block that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it would just be, it'd be kind of become a thing. So I think that was the next step, but you got to have a jury, I think.
No group thing.
Yeah.
We could just hire an AI to fucking look at it all.
Nope.
Well, I'm sure Elon is an AI, actually.
You can't trust him.
He plugs into that gun like Neo.
He does.
Like the arrow.
Yeah, like
Oh, I saw the preview. For your movie, for Avatar.
The Way of Water?
I hope it's good.
Hope.
$2 billion they spent on that movie. It's good.
Yeah.
What are we even
That
talking
doesn't
about?
mean anything.
Don't you worry.
Yes, it does.
Believe me, I'm a huge Jim Cameron fan. I love it. Like, I don't... Yeah, I hope it's good. That's all I'm saying.
$2 billion spent on it, and people are saying the movie's going to have to make that back. Do you know how much money people spend to ride the Avatar ride at Disney World? I'd assume that's at Disneyland and everywhere else. The $2 billion doesn't just have to happen from the movie. Just adding to that sphere and that world, adding with the rides and everything else you can do. I assume $2 billion's already been made back for fucking Disney.
Yeah,
They're going to out around Christmas. You know, they sell a lot of action figures,
Bingo.
that kind of stuff. You know, and then you got home media or whatever they're going to, whatever HBO is going to pay to get it on there. I think they'll be just fine.
First Avatar made $2.9 billion, is what I heard. So that would gross or net, obviously, $900 million before taxes.
Yeah, at the time, Jim Cameron had made the 2 highest-grossing movies of all time. He knows what he's doing.
Titanic and Avatar.
Yeah.
Love you, Titanic.
But his ex-wife won the Oscar.
She did. He doesn't give a shit about that, though.
Let's do one more overreaction or 2 more overreactions quickly because we're so thankful everybody gets involved. Gord Pfizer at It's Vendy. Hashtag PMS, I don't want to overreact, but Kyler Murray should have played baseball. AJ, thoughts quickly?
I mean, honestly, maybe not that. Maybe he is thinking the same thing right now. I don't know. He got paid already in football, but you never know. Baseball's got those big old guaranteed contracts.
How about how quick his hips are, too?
Yeah.
I bet you he could.
He can flip.
And
What's he play?
he's stopped.
Short, second base?
No,
What's he
he played center field.
Yeah, but if he goes into a slump, who would he blame it on?
Well, baseball is all slumps. That's literally what baseball
Okay,
is.
so if he goes into a worse slump than
Pigs.
everyone else, who would he blame it on? Because he can't blame it on himself because he doesn't have that in him.
Well, it didn't matter, though, because he got drafted by the A's, and they're never expected to win a World Series.
Jeez.
Expectations are low.
Yeah.
Baseball is a slumping sport. He would make contact every once in a while.
And he's a very good baseball player. He would have been a very good baseball player.
Still can.
Still can, but
Yeah.
They move it on from Cliff or Kyler. Ian told us they're not scared to move on from Cliff if they have to, basically.
I mean, if they move on if you had to pick one, definitely Cliff would be the first one to go. The coach usually is, especially when the quarterback just got paid. They both did, I understand.
Think about how cool Cliff's going to look with all that guaranteed money just chilling for the next couple of years.
still the man.
He's going to be so cool. Unless he goes to college. There's a lot of college jobs open.
bingo.
Cliff's a
Auburn.
coach. I think no matter what, Cliff will be coaching.
Yeah, he should just look cool sometimes, though.
That might be
Rule
it.
was out for what, 2 months? He was out of work for 2 months.
Not
maybe?
even.
Fun fact, Ted Diggs and I put our brain trust together the week we're heading to App State in Carolina because in the rundown that we get midweek, there was a little bit of a heads up like, hey, this might come up in conversation. So we started chit-chatting, throwing names around. It was like Matt Rule was still hired to be the Carolina Panthers head coach at the time. We're in Carolina. And I've been told now that other people had said this or whatever. It's like, okay, we did not know that. Just want to let you know, we felt as if in our sphere, we created Matt Rule going to Nebraska feels like a fucking big win for Nebraska. Like, I know Jim Leonard has been doing a fantastic job. And, Fickell going to Wisconsin with Jim Leonard hopefully staying on the coaching staff is a brilliant idea. But Matt Rule going to Nebraska, I think, is huge. Nebraska loves fucking football, right? I mean, they love.
Oh, yeah.
They don't like having
They love
sex
the brand
with
of football he has too. Don't they? Love the brand of football that Rule brings. Like he is a disciplinarian. He told me and you, hey, I'm like the least fun football coach out there. He told us in a production meeting, like, yeah, he's about like toughness and grit. At least that's what he wants to be about.
and developing players so guys will be around a good time. I think people will know it. Like, I think that's a good hire. And what I was just alluding to, Fickell to Wisconsin, I think is an incredible hire.
That's massive.
A lot of people were, like some Wisconsin folks, weren't happy that Jim Leonard didn't get the job because of how good he's been doing, and he's a former player and everything like that. I assume Luke Fickell will keep him on his staff. That just seems like that's the type of guy Luke Fickell is. Maybe not. I might be wrong. Might be the right move, especially if they're talking about how close Jim is with the roster, and maybe Jim gets an opportunity to go coach somewhere else. But, like, Fickell going to a Big Ten school
Yeah,
is a big
Wisconsin, like in that division, like Wisconsin makes a lot of sense for Luke Fickell. It really does. Like they've always had big, nasty offensive linemen that are just road graders. I mean, back in the day too, like fullbacks that were always monsters, running backs. Like it'll be. Hopefully he can win a bunch of games there because I love Luke and I think it's a good hire. I give Wisconsin a lot of credit, even though I am a Jim Leonard fan as well. Like I am disappointed for him. I do hope Luke does keep him on the staff if Jim wants to stay. But, yeah, great hire by Wisconsin.
I think Luke Fickell's going to win. And all this conversation about anything's going to stop, and then it'll be him staring down the same question in 5 years of is the Big Ten in Wisconsin big enough with the current state of the college football playoff and the SEC and everything like that. They're going to try to get him somewhere else too. Like Wisconsin's a massive job. Luke Fickell has been wanted by every conference for the last 3 years, I think, at this point. Him picking Wisconsin, then I saw some Wisconsin people that weren't happy. I'm like, what is your problem?
Wake up.
What is your deal? Yeah. I think a majority of the people were happy, but I saw some people that were like, Luke Fickell, what do we want? I'm like, what are we doing? There's a lot of bad coaches in college football. I mean, what are we? If it was somebody else, I would be okay. But I feel like Luke could have had his picking of where he want to go, which might be. Are they firing Ryan Day? Is Ryan Day getting fired over there in Columbus because he lost to Michigan 2 times, first time loss in the shoe since 1996 or something? Is that happening?
No, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, at least. But yeah, believe me, I was there. I was in the stadium. I was there afterwards. Like the disappointment is real. People are super upset, and now they know, hey, we lost twice in a row, and they have to go on the road again next year to play Michigan. Yeah, people are freaking out.
McCarthy's young.
Yeah, McCarthy was slinging it.
He's a dog.
I think obviously the run game's awesome, and they had some home run hitters or whatever. But that dime he dropped down the right sideline, biggest game of the year, college football playoff berth on the line, young guy. I like that Michigan. I did not expect that from the Michigan team, to be honest. I did. That's on me for not following closely.
That's been their thing, though. Like their thing is like, hey, can they beat us through the air? Like, and they beat Ohio State through the air and on the ground.
Yeah,
and by sea.
Beat the shit out.
Hey, Navy SEALs out there, dude. Yeah. What's that all about? Is Ohio okay with getting out tough 2 years in a row from those yuppies up in Michigan?
No, of course they're not. Of course
yuppies up in Michigan. Khakis they're wearing, dude.
Yeah.
There's billionaires' kids going to school at Michigan. I saw Bentleys in front of $10 million homes in Ann Arbor. Those were students at Michigan. They come into Ohio and just fought. That's tough.
Not good.
That was literally the only reason why I picked Ohio.
They hadn't won there since 2000. Like, that's the thing. They haven't come into Ohio State and won since 2000.
Yeah. Dude, what's going on in Ohio? Is Ohio not what I think it is? Do I need to stop? It was literally the only reason why I picked Ohio State. Like, there's no way these yups from up in Ann Arbor with everything they stand for are going to come into Ohio with Ohio fucks in here and just bully them again. And they did, AJ.
Big time.
They did. That happened to you guys.
I was there.
Oh, no.
It's sad.
If you would have told me Corin would have had 2 carries for 6 yards and Harrison Jr. and Buka both went for over 120 and a touchdown, I would have been like, how much did Ohio State win by?
Didn't happen.
Nope.
They can win it all, too.
Yes.
I hate them so much, but they're back. They're definitely back.
Georgia?
Especially with the way everything's gone. LSU losing shakes up the whole
What if they lose in the Big Ten championship game?
That'd be awesome.
Still in.
Where are you guys going? Where's game day?
Dallas.
You know?
We're Dallas. Big 12.
What, Big 12?
Jerry World.
TCU, Kansas State.
There's one Thursday night. Isn't there a championship game Thursday?
Friday. USC, Utah. Pac-12.
Nice.
Utah beat USC earlier.
Yeah.
USC wins, they're in.
Caleb Williams, that dude's fun.
So good. How about he made 2? There was a 3rd and 20 play that isn't the play that everybody's saying that he made where he ran and scrambled. He evaded 4 tacklers ran all the way back, scrambled, had like a 10-yard completion. Wide receiver got it. Place went crazy. Wide receiver went like this. It was 4th and 10.
Yep.
Like it was 3rd and 20. They did not pick up a first down. He did not get sacked. It was a very amazing play.
Yep.
Wide receiver catches it, does the first down.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was 4th and 10.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a great play. Like as I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this is a Heisman play. Like this is the Heisman play, and then they don't pick up the first down. Later in the game, he does it again, though. Then he runs and picks up first down. They're like, Heisman moment, Heisman moment, Heisman moment. It's like this dude walks to the beat of his own drum. He had Grinch shoes on when he showed up at this game with an all-white suit with no – like this dude is an anomaly. He is a hell of a football player. In Lincoln Riley's system for multiple years now because he transfers from Oklahoma over there. I think he's beloved by his teammates. They're all putting a goddamn crown on his head. They're all doing the Heisman thing around him. He is a guy. I'm excited to see him get the spotlight of the college football playoff if they can beat Utah, who beat him once before. He's a player. He's minus 1,500 right now to win the Heisman.
Yeah, damn. I think it even got – it's minus 3,000. It changed in the last 2 hours or whatever we talked about.
Congrats to Caleb.
Here you go, Caleb.
Remember, it was hard for him to transfer. He loved Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yep.
Said didn't want to transfer.
His dad wanted him to stay, I believe.
Now he's at USC in LA, about to win the Heisman, maybe in the college football playoff. Lincoln Riley, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good life.
Probably smart play. And if you're going to move, if you're a college football coach, get a Heisman to learn your offense in the first place.
Right.
And then
bring him with you
to the next place.
It works out.
Incarnate Word quarterback went with the head coach of Incarnate Word last year, who became the offensive coordinator for a team in the upper left part of the United States of America named
Washington State.
Washington State. Fuck. I didn't know if it was.
Cam Ward.
Yeah, because Penix went with the
Washington.
Washington State's offensive coordinator was former head coach of Incarnate Word, brings the quarterback with to Washington State. Breaks all, like, just goes bananas.
Rips it up.
Has known the offense for 2 years now. Goes in there, does well. Like, that's a pretty good little philosophy. You'd assume, if Dahn gets a job, his kid probably coming to wherever.
Colorado. 100%.
Who's already going to know. Why not West Virginia? We weren't even in that. It was Colorado or USF or something. Like what?
Colorado out here is making a play for him.
Or Cincy now. I mean, he played for the Reds. Fucking probably joins the city. Maybe
they're going to Big 12.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was also something I found interesting that Luke Fickell went to the Big 10 with Cincy going to the Big 12 with the way college football playoffs are about to be set up. So everybody's saying now that it'll be the champions of the divisions. What happens when the Pac-12? No offense to Pac-12. USC, UCLA are gone. I assume more teams might leave. What happens to them? Is it just going to be Big 10 SEC? That's what I think he was kind of seeing, right? I think Luke Fickell had to take that into account as well with Cincinnati in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, eventually, aren't we going to get to like 2 conferences probably?
Super conference.
Also, everything
the Big Ten's going to always
Big Ten's got that $1 billion a year TV deal starting,
Bingo.
so all those schools get that money too.
And they also have Ohio State and Michigan.
Right. And they're getting USC, who now has Lincoln Riley and
UCLA.
Yeah, which
Man,
who gives a shit about that, but
there's some sort of something happening where somebody's trying to stop them.
UCLA, I saw is having
because it's a state school.
Yeah.
So like, I think there's some people that are in the state. That think that they can potentially stop that play. I think
they're not going to. I don't think they're going to.
No.
Too much money. Speaking of money, let's give away some, huh?
Hell yeah.
We have a guest in our studio today. CFO Phil's here. Hey,
CFO Phil's here. He loves giving away.
CFO Phil is obviously the man who was a part of the breaking news with Nick Nuzini, where we talked about, as of a few weeks ago, we had given away $2.6 million just this year in giveaways. Okay, $2.6 million. Should have been more. Certainly was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. But cool with giving away whatever, because people spend their days with us and we can't thank them enough for that. And we're grossly overpaid.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. But also need to give back. Need to give back to the people that made it happen because we shouldn't be living this life. So I enjoy doing giveaways. I'm very appreciative of everybody. CFO Phil doesn't love them as much.
No, he hates them.
We get to deal with cash out to make it a little bit more efficient and easier to pay people because CFO Phil was having to write people checks at one point and had to like email them and get them on Cash App or Venmo or PayPal and everything like that. So us getting a deal with Cash App and only being on Cash App through cash tags has really made it a lot easier. Still not as happy, Phil, CFO of the company, seeing money leaving the company at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
Okay? Boom, 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 every day. Boom, boom. Oh, this guy misses 10 shots, makes one. We got to give away $5,000. Okay, that makes sense. That's CFO Phil's mindset. And I can appreciate where it's coming from, but yes, it has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Maines came with Phil.
That's right.
It's awesome.
Papa Maines, obviously a man that is not only hysterical and hardworking, but a guy that I appreciate a lot in my life. We've had a couple scotches together.
Right.
We've had a couple beers together.
Right.
We've talked about life together.
Right.
He's wearing Hokas because he understands what a good
yeah.
pair of shoes feel like.
Of course he is.
Okay, AJ? Me and Papa Maines on the same
How
page.
tall is he? Is he an extra 6 inches?
Feels 8 feet. To be
Yeah,
honest.
he's always walking around on stage because the man has a commanding presence. He has once actually told a cops his house. Cops showed up at a party that was happening at his house. Okay, and he got cited with something. Represents himself in court, and they said that it was disorderly. The party was disorderly or something. He said it was very orderly. Yeah, that was his defense. We had, the drinks were here. This was here. Nobody was running around. Everything was kind of okay. Wins. Fuck it. Presents his own case. Throws it out. So we're talking about an absolute legend. Great to see him. And then the next generation of Philip Mikey Mainses. Lil Phil is here. Now, Little Phil is a stud on the ice, okay?
yeah,
This dude's a dog. We got an American hope in Lil Phil when it comes to hockey. We're talking about a guy who enjoys it, got dangles, and has some...
Young
shit.
stoner.
Yeah, some shit to him. I don't know about a stoner. He's a little bit tougher than a stoner. But
way tougher.
So I thought it would only be right. We lowered the hoop down to 9 feet here. And since it's CFO Phil's only child, he can't be upset about, or not his only child, but his own child.
Right.
Also has sisters, Bella, Reese, incredible family, Mama Means. What if Lil Phil got 5 shots at this 9-foot hoop here from inside the paint, and if he makes one, we'll give 20 people $500.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, normally it's 10 people. We'll make it 20 people because there's no way CFO Phil can get upset and we don't have any backlash at all because guess what, Phil? Your kid.
That's right.
Great kid.
Yeah.
Love the kid. Your kid. So, Lil Phil, why don't we do this thing? Now, Connor, come on, Lil Phil. Connor, why don't you help Shag here?
Sure.
Come on, buddy.
What do you say, Lil Phil?
Come on now, Lil Phil. Come on now.
Swag out the fucking.
Got the same Phil look, too, like the tights under the shorts.
Yeah.
You have 5 things from anywhere in here that you want to put up. 5 of them, Lil Phil. You put it in, 20 people will win $500. Your dad will have to pay them all. All right? Let's go.
Yo, Lil Phil. What do we say?
Give him 500 too.
All right, and I'm... Yeah, I'll give him 1,000. We'll give away 20 people $500 who retweet this video, say something nice to somebody, and put their cash tag in it. Lil Phil.
Wow.
Lil Phil.
Legend.
What a stud, dude. What a stud.
I only need one.
That's
I only need one.
steps up to the plate. $10,000 on the line.
Easy.
Legend.
Phil, give your kid $1,000 too, please, from the company. That'd be very nice. Sign him up for Cash App. 20 people win who retweet this, say something nice, put their cash tag in the same reply in which they said something nice to somebody. We can't thank you enough for rocking with us tomorrow. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Be a friend, tell a friend. See you then. Goodbye.